Hours of power. Hours of power. Debates. Open your mind, your mind, your mind, your mind. Hours of power. Hours of power.
And so a community is where you control your belief, control your commerce, you control your education, you control your house. We don't control none of that. We live in a hood. Well, what about the Negroes that get out? Oh, well, my cousin, he's a multi-millionaire, almost got $1 billion. 3 PhDs, working on 2 more. Driving down the street in Chicago in his Rolls Royce, enjoying himself, and he hit his siren, look to the mirror and see this cop car flashing lights. He squeezed the steering wheel, man. Heart beats fast. But he knows the price of a Negro, what it could be. And then when that cop car passing by, he said, thank God he wasn't after you in the first place, Paul. That Negro thing you can't get away from. It's universal. They wasn't coming after you. But all your millions, with your Rolls Royce, with your PhD, didn't help. That's the hood. Why do you think you never pick up the paper and over and over and see white families come? You think there's thousands of black cops in America. Why don't you see white families crying as black cops got my loved one punched times at the back of the head? Why do you think black cops are they get more spiritual? I think that's good. No. They got enough sense to know that white folks ain't gonna tolerate it. And I will stop in our neighborhood when we decide we were not tolerant. Now, if we were organized, which is hard to organize people who are just going to run crazy, you don't love to crazy. But if we were, with the money we have, and the many people who would come to our aid that don't know what it's like to be a Negro, and if we said, look, we saying, if we don't get a federal law to deal with police brutality, that anytime a cop or anybody carry a gun, have to have a license just like you to drive a car. And if you use it wrongly, you lose your license. And if it's upheld, you can never work again as a cop or a store boy or a private detective. Now, how do you get Congress for elected? Well, you take your economic power and you call on your friends, black, white, young, and old, and say, this coming Christmas, if we don't have a federal law to outlaw police brutality by law, we call it for a nationwide boycott of Christmas and start on Thanksgiving. 79% of all retail in America happens between Thanksgiving and Christmas. People stay in business all year, lose money just for Christmas, huh? Well, what happened now? Huh? Plastic items, toys, trees and more? What? That people get the bill and all they got to do is make one phone call and say, Harry, the senator, I want that bill pushed through in 3 days. Okay, it's economic. It's that simple. But we have the power, but the system has wiped us out. So that.
Open your mind, your mind, your mind.
And peace, folks, and welcome back to another edition of the Proper Thought series right here on the old T.P.O.T. YouTube page. I'm your host, X, of course, but you knew that already. That's why your black ass is here. Tonight, got a good one for y'all tonight. Once again, once again, the hits just keep on coming, y'all. As y'all can see, tonight we're going to be throwing down with Brother Ramil Amyr and Brother Moses, and we're going to be debating whether or not us black folks deserve reparations. But before we get started, y'all know I always started off with thanking all of y'all, man, for your donations, for your subscriptions, for your support, man. I mean, y'all support this platform so much, man. I mean, I know I get up here and I say it a lot, and I'm always going to say it. As long as y'all support me the way y'all support me, man, I'm always going to say it. A couple of y'all wrote me today, and y'all was talking about the PayPal. I don't know what to tell y'all about the PayPal, man. That shit been acting crazy. I put another PayPal link in there today. Hopefully the shit worked, because I know a lot of y'all like to donate on PayPal and shit. I did get your email, so y'all know I read them. And I don't know what to tell y'all, man. The PayPal be bugging out, but I do got the Cash app, so y'all can go ahead and do that if you want to, if you're feeling generous tonight. It's $ capital T.P.O.T media on Cash App. That's $ capital T.P.O.T media on Cash App, so y'all can do that. But I just want to thank y'all, man. The way y'all support this platform, man, it's just unbelievable, man. I mean, y'all, with y'all views, with your shares, with your likes, your subscriptions, man, the emails, y'all hit me up with like 1 million emails like every other day. And I appreciate it. I talk shit, but I do appreciate it, man, because I appreciate all of y'all. I appreciate everything y'all do, man. I do. I appreciate every single one of you. And I don't say it to kiss y'all butts, because by now y'all been following me long enough to know that I don't kiss y'all butts. But I say it generally because I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate y'all generosity, man. I appreciate all the support that y'all have given this channel, man, over the course of time, man. And I just appreciate all of you. I'm humbled. I'm honored. I'm grateful. And I thank you. I thank you all. Okay. All right. Yeah, let's get at it. Tonight, Brother Ramil Amyr versus Brother Moses. Let me bring in the debaters. Brother Ramil, Brother Moses. What's good, my brothers? What's going on? What's going on? Peace, Brother Ramil. Peace, Brother Moses. Brothers looking all serious and shit. Good.
Right.
Of course, y'all know we always gotta have a celebrity timekeeper.
Tonight, who we got tonight?
Celebrity timekeepers, none other than Art the Style. Peace, brother Art the Style.
Salute.
What's good? What's good?
What's happening, everybody?
All right. I believe y'all are familiar with the rules, but I'm going to tell them to the folks just in case people have forgotten. What we do is we do opening statements. We give you 7 minutes apiece. You'll be on the clock for the first 7 minutes. The person who's against goes first. The person who's for goes second. Then after that, we do something called a rebuttal round. And those rebuttal rounds, I think we usually do 4 minutes. We're going to go ahead and do 5 minutes for each rebuttal round. We do that for about an hour. We take a little break. Then we come back and then we do some rapid fire. Nobody's really going to be on the clock. Y'all will just be able to kind of go at it for a little. We'll do closing statements. And then if y'all have enough time, we take some questions from the chat. All right. All right. So I believe Brother Ramil is against, so he will be going first. Timekeeper, could you put 7 minutes on the clock for us, please, sir, if you would?
Got 7 minutes for you.
All right. Brother Ramil, you up.
All right, cool. I got the bell. Oh, man. Usually in debates, I like to defer, but it's all good. I'll go first on this one. Reparations is one of the silliest ideas ever for Black people, and I'm going to explain for multiple reasons. First of all, you took an L. Slavery was an L, and nobody gets paid for L's. Black people have been waiting to get paid for an L for the past 160 some years, and it's never going to come. It makes us more docile. It makes us not want to get out here and compete because we're expecting a check to come somewhere down the line. Black people seem to think that equality is a natural right, a God-given right, which is not true. All right, you have to go out and get what's yours. Another group of people is not going to put you on their level. If you have an advantage over somebody, why would they put you in a position where you can outperform them? That's silly. All right, you have to work for what's yours. In nature, the prey. I mean, the predator is not telling the prey, "Hey, come on, man, I'm not going to eat you today." No, they're going to eat the prey alive. All right, black people act like nature is not to play here. Another thing too, we always talk about how reparations is a legal issue, but there are no lawsuits filed for reparations whatsoever against the United States government. You have people who filed them against corporations, which makes no sense whatsoever. All right. Now, I know Brother Moses is going to talk about how other races got reparations, but the truth is, people give reparations to people who are going to help themselves regardless. You help people who want to help themselves. They gave these other races reparations because they were going to rebuild with or without it. All right. You give black people reparations, we're going to fuck it up. We might even self-destruct. All right. That would be the worst thing to do, to give black people trillions of dollars. That does not even make any sense. All right. Another thing too. All right. The reparations, if you want reparations, you already got it. You're in the richest country in the world, with a chance to build wealth, with a chance to compete and make something of yourself. Your reparations is the fact that the United States government did not exterminate your black ass after they got done building the richest country in the world off your backs. All right, you're still here. You have the ability to get out here and make money, to create a better life for yourself, to produce, to create value, but you want to wait on a check. You know, this is why they won't give you a check, because you're not doing nothing without it. Even being in the richest country, you're not doing anything here with the opportunity you already have. So of course they're not going to pay you. Now, the United States government last year they spent $3.9 trillion on the defense budget. And you guys are sitting here asking the government to give you guys hundreds of trillions of dollars, and they spend only $3 trillion last year on the defense budget, the biggest block of money that the government spends, and you asking for 20 times that amount makes no sense. Another thing, there's a couple other things let's get down to the technicals. First of all, when it comes to reparations, there are no single group clearly responsible. All right, we got people suing these corporations, got people suing the government.
Oh damn, he froze.
Africa is so. Can y'all hear me?
Okay, you froze for about 30 seconds.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right, so let's keep going. I don't know if it keeps doing that, I'll get on my phone, but let's keep it going. All right, so second of all, only 8% of white people own slaves. Only a small percentage. So who you guys are gonna go after? All right, not owning slaves was something for the wealthy people back then. And on top of that, black people own slaves too. Are you going to get reparations from the black families who profited off of slavery as well? So let's not forget that black people did own slaves. All right. Another thing, who's going to get the reparations? Are you remember what about the $5 Indians with the white people who they were getting Indian they were getting the same benefits as Indians because they had 1% Indian blood in them. There's so many mixtures going on. You don't know who's black and who's not. That's going to be a whole issue in itself. You don't know how that's going to be covered. I mean, you know, there's so many flaws with this argument. You're going to be better off, you know, competing for yours, getting out here, making something of yourself instead of waiting on a check, you know, because this is another form of victimhood. All right, another form of victimhood. And this victimhood does not get us nowhere. Another thing, too, actually, the government has paid reparations to certain groups of black people as well. All right, and they have counted that as reparations. This is why sometimes they say we already paid you. All right, so they've already paid certain sectors like the black farmers. They've already paid that shit to you already. All right, to certain groups. They just took the money and ran. All right, so, you know, it's just so many flaws with it. I'm gonna just stop right there, and then whatever Brother Moses has to say, I'll just debunk whatever he said, man.
So are you conceding the rest of your time, Brother Ramil?
How much time is it?
2 minutes and 11 seconds.
Yeah, go ahead, man. I'm done.
All right, Brother Moses, you up? Can we get 7 minutes on the clock? Timekeeper, please.
7 minutes coming right up.
All right, peace and black power. Black first salute, man. As the government here, I am the affirmed. I am the position that has to say why reparations are due to blacks. I'm going to make it as concise as I can, so stick with me. But my first task here will be to define the terms. Number one from the topic is do we deserve? So do do something, or do we show qualities worthy of? So let's look at that definition first. Similar words to deserve are justified, to warrant, to earn. My comment is that meager 2% of gross national product that we contributed by the 40 million Black economy is such that deserves a relief fund. So it says, do something worthy of. Let me give you an example of one of our greatest Black innovators' accomplishments, despite the odds, and to mention a couple of our favorite celebrity exceptions to this debate. However, but the general rule here is to observe that we are not progressing at the rate we would like to see. And if that part is due to racial discrimination, then it should be addressed. I'll use those examples to enlighten why we deserve reparations, which is the topic. We hope for about an 8% return at minimum if this is business, with some better years hitting double-digit growth for the Black community as a part of our nation. So the definition of deserve says that we have to show that we have about 100 colleges and universities that are nearly exclusively Black people first and foremost, and that we put out the greatest share of doctors and such through those HBCUs, as well as those households producing roughly around $40,000 minimum through their labor. So are they doing something? Yeah, they're still working. We're still here. We're still fighting. And yet we still have work to do because those numbers are too little for me. So let's look further at that last part of the definition, which is the qualities worthy of, because my opponent does not feel Black people deserve reparations, meaning that we aren't worthy of the reparations, to which I disagree. But to be thorough in my opening round, I'll start by just defining those terms and what reparations are. So reparations, that definition is the making of amends for a wrong one has done by paying money to or otherwise helping those who have been wronged. The quick Google search definition, if you will allow that, says a wrong one has done. It's too messy for debate. It deals with immorality, which is faith-based. By paying money, though, bingo, that's an easier conversation to have given our time restraints. See, there's economic ramifications that we can dive into. There's confirmation bias there with your stereotypes and your prejudices, but the tangible and the disparate impact that was caused, that can be quantified. So it is my position that slavery and Jim Crow were both wrong. And because there was a wrong committed, we can identify who those perpetrators were. These acts were committed by the federal government, by those businesses, the people, and so forth. Criminals for the most part, specifically if you include white collar crime. But by state sanctioned, enforced, or without the protection thereof, nor prosecution to be exact, for those wrongs that were committed, and thus they are liable to those wrongs. So a wrong is clearly established. I'm following the definition, right? I definitely don't have a problem with money. So I guess we're debating whether Blacks are worthy. Have they earned their right to file a major grievance on behalf of our elders for those wrongdoings that were caused? I think we deserve those reparations, but that time is the outcome of a successful political campaign. It's first a prerequisite agenda item that has to be inserted into that voting block, a reparations bill in the first place. That's the real discussion. I agree with the paying of money. Does my opponent disagree with a check? A $20,000 check, like he knew I would mention the Japanese, a continuous income stream for Holocaust victims, maybe industries like casinos, which went to those Indians. He knew I was going to mention it, so I put it right there. Something tangible and economically stimulating to go with that official apology and reconciliation, like apartheid. Excuse me. But Black people deserve access to that capital, is what Brother Moses will talk about. Black participation in global markets, domestic, yes, but it's contingent upon our victory. You are a buyer and a seller. So homie, stick with me. I'll slaughter this topic ridiculously, meticulously. Banks want to see your shipments increased. Every deposit and transaction to be accounted for as a Black community. 40,000 a medium household income. Excuse me, that's not enough. Our imports and exports, they're only a trade. You see what I did with the double entendre right there? But I hope that you're good at hustling, because in this thing, those stacks can come in small amounts, but I prefer big faces. How do you measure up to the world of paper chasers? You against the dreamers, or me with a financial plan? You don't want to talk reparations because it might piss off white people. When you're forced to compete on your own merit as an individual, how does my opponent compare economics with his economics to the other black men in his age bracket and with similar experience? He could probably find 10 who have a better resume, maybe 1,000, but a Chicago study showed it doesn't matter what your resume said, because with your name alone, that was the disqualifier. Arizona State University extended the study and showed that whites with criminal records would have a better chance of getting that call back than either of you outstanding citizens whose names are perceivably black. Small sample size, but I could keep going because more than 3 million participated in Harvard's implicit association test, which demonstrated the why from a broader lens. I'll give you the cliff notes. Racism still exists, and it has a detrimental value on our economy, that black economy. That 75% preferential for whites creates tangible privileges in our capitalist system, and we want our share of those imports and export contracts, mergers, acquisitions, those returns. And this is how we negotiate it through a political process. Reparations is something that creates a greater economic advantage for blacks to compete against what should have been eradicated in the first place. It never should have been in our market already, but we really haven't addressed it, and that's why we bring it up in these debates. Discrimination in financing, housing, and education. How am I on time?
You got 41 seconds.
I'm telling you, the negation of equal protection under the law is the continuing sin, and that the studies substantiate my claims. I'm not with those who are joining those naysayers who say, let's just stop talking about racism and it'll gradually go away. It is time that we recognize it and make it the same call as was made by our leaders before us. Some of those people who are still alive today, black people who have the right to file a claim on behalf of their elders for reparations, like those he mentioned, those black farmers. I'll say more later.
Okay.
All right. I see Brother Ramil has switched devices. And he's not there.
I'm right here, bro. Can
Brother
you see
Ramil,
me?
you might have to go out. Oh, there he is. All right.
Can you see me? I'm right here, bro.
Yeah, I can see you. Can see you now. So now we going into the rebuttal round. So Brother Ramil, you up? Can we have 5 minutes on the clock, please, Mr. Timekeeper?
5 minutes coming up. Here we go.
Check this out, man. All right, racism. We always want to talk about racism, this, racism, that. What black people don't seem to understand is that racism is a natural act. It is natural for people to look out for their own kind. It's natural for people to stick up for their own. And black people seem to be confused when white people do this. We seem to be confused when Asians do this. Of course they're gonna stick up for their own, and of course they're gonna do it using you as a stepping stone. What black people need to understand, you're expecting the same people who enslaved you for 400 years to come back and give you equality. Yo, I'm not waiting on that. All right. If you really feel like you deserve it, why aren't there any lawsuits filed against the United States government for reparations? Answer me that. It doesn't make no sense. All right. Those other races that get these quote unquote reparations, they're responsible with capital. All right. What did they do with the benefits? They created casinos, like you said. They rebuilt their own neighborhoods, like you said. You give a nigga trillions of dollars, we're not going to build shit because we haven't did it with the money that we do have. We're already in the richest country in the world, and we literally own nothing. We don't produce anything. We are consumers. I wouldn't give your black ass money either. All right, you're not doing anything with what you do have. All right, you have not created anything worthy. You're talking about I'm worried about white people. I don't give a fuck about white people. I don't even like white people. I stay away from white people unless it's for business. All right, we got to understand that you are dealing with a group of people who do not like you. And if you really want to stick it to them, try going out here and competing and being successful. We have yet to create anything with what we do have. And another thing, too, another way they've already paid out reparations is all this welfare they gave niggas. Free food, free housing. All right, what you guys would be on the streets if they didn't give it to you. How you going to force somebody, tell them to give you a check, but you have no leverage? All right, black people have no leverage. We don't have a voting block. We don't own any real estate, barely. We barely own any businesses. And you're gonna go tell the government to give you some reparations just off forcing them? No, you have no leverage to do that. So let's focus on getting leverage first. That's why we don't deserve reparations, because we have no leverage. Other groups have leverage, okay? Whether if it's a home country or whether they own certain sectors of businesses, in America, whether they're on real estate or on Hollywood, they have leverage. Niggas don't have no leverage, but you're expecting people to cut you a check. It's that victimhood mentality. It's that mentality of just help us out just because. You know, the same shit. It makes us so docile. Talking, it's the same shit with this God bullshit. You know, waiting on God to help us, waiting on the white man to help you. While you're waiting on that, I'm going to be working on my businesses daily, in and out. My reparations, I'm gonna create them. You can wait for this white man who don't even like your ass to cut you a check all you want, and I'm gonna keep grinding. And you can compare results in 5 to 10 years. You're talking about a white person with a criminal record has a better chance of getting a call back. I ain't waiting on the call back. All right, I'm filing my own LLC, and I'm getting out here and I'm creating my own shit. I ain't waiting on white folks to give me nothing. All right, I'm just not. And it makes us look bad when we have grown people waiting on a check for no reason. Your ancestors ain't here no more. Slavery was hundreds of years ago. Get over it. All right, because if you really was mad about it, this would have been tackled already. Lawsuits would have been filed against the government. By the way, it's 2020. You still talking about reparations? It's going to be 3020. Y'all going to be talking about reparations. It's silly. That's it.
There's 1 minute and 29 seconds left.
Oh, fuck it, I keep going in. Fuck it, man. I'm just saying, man. Y'all gonna keep waiting. How many generations of black people have died waiting on these reparations? All right. How many generations of black people still think it's coming? It's just like with this Jesus coming back thing, man. Like, it's not going to happen. And if I was a white person, I wouldn't give it to you either, because you have not proven yourselves. Black people have not proven ourselves in the arena of competition. So, and if they don't give you reparations, you ain't gonna do shit about it. What you gonna do? What the fuck y'all niggas gonna do? All right, so it's illogical to think that they're gonna give you trillions of dollars. This government will exterminate you niggas before they give you $100 trillion. All right, they will literally set up concentration camps and exterminate you niggas before they give you guys $1 trillion for you to not do anything with. Literally, they will. It's happened before in history, and y'all think these white folks really fuck with y'all niggas? Keep pushing the buttons. It's like these people with the 5 for 15. They kept asking for $15 minimum wage. Now these robots coming in and replacing them. Keep asking about shit seconds. That's not realistic. Keep asking about shit that's not realistic. This government gonna show you their hand, because they really don't like you niggas, especially with Trump in office and all this shit. If you want to show your worth and show that you're worth reparations, get out here and create something first. Then maybe you might have an argument when you have leverage, when you have industries, when you have land, when you have real estate, when you have something you can leverage. Voting block, at least. Niggas can't even get on the same page with the political shit. It just makes no sense to me, man. That's it.
Brother Moses, you up?
Now, y'all know I created a PowerPoint for it, right? So would you mind if I shared my screen?
Oh, absolutely. Feel free. You too, Brother Ramil, if you want to share screens, whatever you want to do, just let me know. Whatever you want to do.
All right, perfect. So I think this is only a 5-minute rebuttal round, so I'll just start here with this one. Look, I want the light bulb to come on, because he's saying some things that just aren't true. He's saying some things that we haven't proven ourselves. And so I want to at least take 60 seconds here and actually show areas where we've actually proven ourselves. So he says we're not going to do shit. There's a lot of black man hatred that I would have to address, but that's a psychological area for an individual. I don't think that's something we can address on this one debate. And so a lot of the areas that we're looking at is the light bulb here. General Electric is one of those major companies. Shout out Ramil for actually letting me purchase this beat. My young brother is lost. See, when it comes to power, we're talking electrical grids worth of power. That's the significance of 40 million people and our contributions on a global scale, right? So let me let this light bulb come on for you. Latimer Lewis was the black inventor who worked for the U.S. patent company or U.S. manufacturing company inventing light bulbs, bought out by Thomas Edison. As we moved that around, Thomas Edison then took that patent and then made that patent that light bulb that produced millions upon millions and millions for that small company, even in the late 1800s. So that African-American, his great invention, then bought out or taken as a patent to promote this Edison company, United Manufacturing Company. So manufacturing from a scale or from the mind of an African American. Why is that important? Because you can fail 10,000 times, Ramil, doing it alone. But when you're talking manufacturing companies, you're going to have to come with the math, right? So you're going to say, when a patent is taken, no, it's commercially feasible for the ability of the design of that patent to permit participation, and leadership in that field. It moves then all the way to 1911, where GE started to commercialize that. They would take that from 1935, create new bulbs for the Major League Baseball, sporting, entertainment, so many other fields and investments, because we have light now. The light bulb being a major part of that GE company's legacy and history extracted from the black man. So you can't tell me we don't have anything to offer or to provide. See, that's Brother Moses right there, having the conversation in South Africa, where we know we have areas of growth in agriculture. 2/3 of the population of sub-Saharan Africa without a grid to electricity, meaning power. So that's a real power conversation to have. Show you homes where they are in Ghana. You're not thinking big enough. Homes in Kenya that need light. And as we continue to create that, is that my 5 minutes, brother?
No, you got 2 minutes and 26 seconds.
That's right, because while I'm talking, Akon gets $1 billion from that same China that you says likes him. He doesn't have to worry about, well, white people don't like me and they don't think that I'll be something. $500 million to help those 28.8 million Africans get that light, but you don't think a nigga can think that big. See, you miss out on the collaborative focus on reparations and start thinking that Africa still looks like that, but it's houses and investment opportunities that we miss out on because we have undercapitalized infrastructure and we have a racist system, institutional prejudice that holds us back from those type of investments. Brother, you're lost and you got to wake up, because look, it's imports and exports on a global scale. If you're talking about the tremendous value of trillions of dollars, that's reparations, trillions. Now, you said we never did anything, but this African-American who lost his patent, his son ended up getting 800 acres and they started Mississippi, what was it, Mound buying. It was like all black people society right there. That is a light from history that shows that your argument is just flat out wrong, brother. We didn't just take an L. We've continued to fight. We fight to this day. We don't self-destruct. We invest. Extermination is not one of my issues. I am about economics. Get with it. Don't any time remaining.
You have 1 minute and 20 seconds left.
With that last 1 minute, I want to make sure I touch on a couple of the points that he brought out in the first part as well. He said America is given an advantage. Oh, he said something around the advantages that America gives. America gave advantage around that same time of those great inventors with the Homestead Act, in a position to outperform even some of those migrants who had come previously. You help people that want to help themselves. I can show you that same legacy carried over in today on black inventors, the companies that black folks work for. We still have that same black intellectual capability and shit. We're still producing out here. You're not doing anything with the opportunity you already have, but at the same time, there's 2.1 million black businesses. We don't have a voting block. 85% voting clip for the Democratic Party. Our HBCUs influence BRIC nations and are influence our global hip hop, for example. So we take that light, but it was also the telephone. Smartphones is another major investment that is made possible through the capitalization through reparations. This guy is lost, and he clearly does not either know his history or the potential of the black community to speak so ill of us because white people won't accept us. They don't like us. If you keep doing that, they're going to show you their hand. Fuck them fear tactics, nigga. Stand up.
Hold on a second before we go to the next little round. I'm looking here, and it's 249 of you black ass Negroes in here, but I only see 86 damn likes. It's not like I'm asking you for $1. Take that goddamn hand, slide it across that iPad, slide it across that damn iPhone that you paid $1,500 for, slide that damn mouse across that PC and hit that damn like button. I got 240 something of you in here, but I can't get at least 200 likes. Or you're trying to tell me you're sitting here staring at something for 30 minutes that you don't even like? That doesn't even make any sense, folks. So come on, hit the damn like button. Because if you don't, I will haunt you in your dreams. All right? All right. Can I get 5 minutes on the clock? Timekeeper.
Yes, sir.
Brother Ramil, you up?
These PowerPoints is funny as hell. I thought the topic was reparations, not light bulbs, all right, not patents, not Akon, all right, not housing in Africa. I thought that none of these things have nothing to do with reparations. You're just throwing random things around to try to make yourself look better than what you are, presenting a PowerPoint that had nothing to do with reparations. That's what I'm trying to understand. How are you trying to tie this in? You said the patents were bought or taken. The truth is, most of them were bought out. You have a lot of black men who sold their patents even from the 1800s until today. You know, just to play with your little argument. Another thing too, man. You talking about niggas don't think big enough, but you're thinking to the point of asking another race of people for help. I'm thinking bigger than you because I'm saying let's get out here and do it ourselves. Well, you can create the capital. In America, you can make a business out of the littlest, smallest thing if you just capitalize on it. You're talking about, you say you're about economics, but you're waiting on these white folks to cut you a check. How is that's called begging? That's called welfare. Okay, when you want the government to give you something for nothing, that's called welfare because you didn't experience none of that. You didn't experience none of that slavery whatsoever. Your ancestors did. And this whole thing about generational wealth, we missed out. 70% of generational wealth is lost through all races after the second generation. That's why it's only so few families who maintain it, and they're part of the elite 13. You know, at the end of the day, you're talking about you got 2.1 million black businesses. Yeah, but most of them employ one person. All right, most of they're sole proprietorships. So I don't understand what you brought. And then when you talking about smartphones were made possible through reparations, what are you talking about? At the end of the day, if you want something and you feel like you deserve it, no other group of people can set that marker for you. Only you can. If you deserve it, go out here and get it. We're gonna be, like I said, it's gonna be the year 3000. You got to still gonna be talking about reparations. A century already passed. Well, I don't know what makes you guys think the government's gonna write a check for trillions of dollars. It's not going to happen. They don't even put that towards the defense budget. You guys are like, and black people have not proven their worth. You're talking about random niggas. Like every once in a while, a nigga will come through and create something incredible. Yes, I understand. There's been a lot of black inventors, a lot of incredible black inventors. I'm not denying that. I'm saying that's the anomaly, man. That's the anomaly. That's not the majority of black people. Majority of black people ain't shit. All right, the majority of us don't do anything. We're lazy. We just want to work and go home if we're working. Yes, I said it. Majority of black people ain't shit because we're not out here creating anything. We're not competing. We're not putting our capital on the line. I heard an echo. All right. Anyway, we're not putting our capital on the line. We're not trying to strive for greatness. We just want to be satisfied with the job and paycheck and go home. And you talking about get another check. Everybody talking about people giving us stuff. You go out and take what you want. You don't wait. You go take, man. And this victimhood mentality, look, even if you gave black people reparations, what are we going to do with it? You're going to blow it. This is a scientific fact. You give lottery winners millions of dollars, they go broke within the next few years. Now, what's the plan for reparations? You just wanted them to cut you a check. It's always cut the check, cut the check. What you going to do with the check? What is the plan with niggas? Just want money. You guys don't worry. Money's not the problem with black people. All right, it's the mentality. All right, you don't need money to change the situation right now. We have enough of it. We got $1.3 trillion spending power in this country. That's more than the GDP of a lot of countries, and we spending most of it on bullshit hair, weave, clothing, cars, stupid stuff. We're consumers, and you're asking more money for what? To consume. You have not brought up one plan. You have not brought up one plan. What you're gonna do with this money? What you gonna do? You're gonna buy a real estate? Nobody say. Every time you ask somebody what's the plan for reparations, there is none. All right, so I find it funny how we just all about cut the check, because niggas only think short-sighted. You talking about I don't think big enough? You're only thinking as far as the check. All right, and that's not good enough. It's not gonna change anything. This is why niggas are stuck in the position that we're in because we're short-term thinkers and we're waiting on stuff that's not going to happen. You're never gonna get a reparations check ever. And I don't blame this government for not giving it to you because you niggas, once again, it comes back to leverage. What leverage do black people have to demand the strongest government in the world to cut them the largest check ever written? There's never been a check for hundreds of trillions. Never been a check written that big. And you're asking for something that never happened. And you haven't proven yourself worthy. No. Now you said 3 seconds, right?
Yeah, you have 17 seconds now.
Oh, I thought you said 3 seconds. But yeah, man, like you said, you're asking for something that's illogical. You're asking for magic to happen. And black people, we always waiting on some magical bullshit. Like, get real. We have to get out here and create what you want. Take what you want. Don't wait for these white folks. Don't wait for these white folks, man. You're going to be waiting forever, man. That's it.
Brother Moses, you up?
All right, so it's always interesting whenever I have these debates. One of the major premises that I have is that I put forth my information, the other person puts forth their information. I feel like I do a good job at least attempting to address what they say, but yet they get lost on just trying to rebut what I said about what they said and never get around to addressing what I actually said. What will you do with the reparations? I'm pretty sure I laid that out. Black people deserve that access to capital, Black participation in global markets. You're a buyer and a seller. Your shipments increase, every deposit and transaction being accounted for with that same compound interest. Imports and exports are only a trade. I hope you caught that double entendre, but it's about a hustling thing. You might like your stacks in small amounts, but I prefer big faces. How do you measure up in the world of paper chasers? That is the issue that we're actually dealing with. For me, the racial argument or the moral grounds of they stole it back then and you not being them from that descendants, that conversation to me gets lost, bro. It absolutely gets lost because I don't think that it's addressing anything that I've said. What I said was, if it even comes remotely close, was that, let me see, which one? I'll do it this way. If you could find somebody who has a better resume than yours, and that's what you're going to be competing on, I'll summarize it. I used a couple of different studies that I brought in my introduction. He didn't rebuttal against any of those studies. So I'm kind of lost. If we're already doing the groundwork while working in America, we're still producing the 2.1 million jobs. We're still sole proprietors, as he might want to call them. We're still working in government. We're still in the military. We're still working for the Goldman Sachs, the Morgan Stanleys. We're still at HBCUs. We still have the 100 colleges. We're still laying the groundwork of work. We're not waiting for the check. That's a political agenda. That is something to capitalize us. It's something that America benefits from when we infuse that capital into us, that relief check. I would say that foreign aid is an example of where those type of payments are being made. And so as a rebuttal to the we're not doing anything argument, I say, yes, we're doing our share. And that's despite of the economic disadvantage of income inequality and economic disparity. So the reparations there is to solve for those and to redress that. Redress. I mean, you might miss it. Maybe you don't want to check. Or maybe there's something deeply embedded that won't allow you to think like this. Look, as an individual, you can continue to do everything that you are personally advocating for. And everybody that says that you are making some good points are talking about personal advocacy, personal economics. But reparations is a collective agenda, a political agenda that stands to compete economically against other agendas. So when the Irish want money, when the contract workers want money, when the United Farmers want money, when the Teachers Association wants money, when any group comes together and decides they want money, they go through this. And you don't think that playing that game has a benefit? That's a personal decision. But I'm saying we don't wait around for that. We push the hard line and say, this is what we're after. And there's no distraction. There's no deflection towards, well, who? That semantic argument on what is your ethnicity? What do we call you? Black, African American, colored, Negro. We know the why is very apparent. Slavery and Jim Crow. My argument includes both. My argument includes the economic ramifications. Do you argue against that in your rebuttal? No, you don't. All you say is we're going to fuck it up and we'll self-destruct. But that's a mind game, bro. That is a mind game. I think I'm doing a good job at rebutting some of the points. Again, welfare is not our reparations. We do have that voting block. The 2.1 million businesses, let it ride. Our HBCUs still have their influence. We're still producing doctors and lawyers. We're still competing on a global scale. We want the capital to do so even better. That 2% net wealth that we have of the nation should be around 8%. I said that, he doesn't contest it. 3.9 trillion spent on a defense budget, 2.2 in just addressing the discrimination in America. I presented that in a previous debate. I can give the source if needed. See, we're going to be better off competing for ours, which includes a political agenda. Reparations is on that agenda, and now is the time for us to be vocal about it, to make sure that we're doing our part to stick up for ourselves. And do I got 1 minute left, or what does my time look like?
30 seconds.
30 seconds. So I'll say it like this, just so that in case anyone missed it. My opponent's talking points. We're not going to do shit is a sign of Black hatred. That is somebody who feels like Black are incompetent or inherently unable to compete. That's not the case. That's not my position. We've created nothing or anything of worth. And so I showed the history lesson real quick, even about the light bulb and what that means in modern contemporary terms. No, Akon isn't one of us, but I'm saying that black dot from that light bulb is the Lighting Africa agenda Akon is now getting billions for.
Brother Ramil, you up?
All right, so that bell. I find it funny how you saying I'm not rebutting your points when I'm actually directly rebutting your points every time I get on here, whether you want to realize it or not. It's funny. You talking about we are doing the work. You bring up rare things that we're doing, but bro, just because you're doing some work don't mean you're doing enough. Like you talking about the little things that we do. 2 million businesses that mostly are sole proprietorships. That's not enough. All right, you're talking about the HBCUs. We're not even producing doctors and lawyers. That's not enough. Black people are not in these fields on proportional levels compared to their population. We have a lower than 5% STEM rate as far as doctors, and that's part of STEM. We're not even participating in these fields on the level that we should be in the proportional rate to our population. So just because we're doing some work, don't mean we're doing enough. That's little stuff. The majority of black population is not producing to the level that we should be. And yes, you said black wealth is at 2% and it should be at 8%. Yes, it should be at 8%. But you need reparations to do that. You should be doing that automatically. This is why the government's not giving you nothing, because in the richest country, you do only own 2%. And really, it should be 13% because we're 13% of the population. All right, but you don't, to say that you need trillions of dollars to produce, that's why you're not going to get it. You should be doing that already. Nothing's stopping you from doing it. You don't need $1 trillion more to at least perform at the adequate level so that your rates in STEM, that your rates in being a doctor and lawyer, like you said, are at the same rate as your population, proportionalities. All right. Now, you said about other groups, when they want money, they go to the government. No, when other groups want money, they money pool, first off, they money pool their resources. And then after that, they go to the bank. And then after that, they go to venture capitalists. All right. Asking the government for money is the last resort for these other groups of people. And they don't even do it. All right, because they got enough discipline to money pool with themselves. It's like the Mexicans who live 20 to a house and don't leave to everybody got a business. Same with the Arabs. Actually, Mexicans are have the fastest home ownership rate currently in the United States. They haven't received no trillions of dollars. They're just doing it. All right, I deal with them. I just sold a Mexican house last month. They're just doing it. They put their money together. They have discipline. They ain't talking about I have a hatred for black people because I'm saying that if we get trillions of dollars, we're going to blow it. That's not hatred for black people. That's common sense. Look what we've done so far. Look at our track record with the money we do have. $500 billion every year on hair weave. All right. Like I said, clothing. Always trying to soup up our cars. We're teenagers when it comes to money. That's our track record. Majority of us live check to check because we don't know what to do with the money we do got. Give a nigga a raise, he's going to buy a bigger house. He's going to buy a bigger car. Yo, we are consumers. Black people are the consumer class. This is why Jews call us liquid money. So when I say that blacks will fuck it up, that's not coming from a point of hatred. That's coming from our past track record. Literally, when it comes to economics, when we get money, we fuck it up. That's what we do. And other races know this. That's why these Arabs and these Koreans are willing to risk their lives going into the grimiest hoods every day because they know you niggas are going to spend it. You ain't gonna spend money on upgrading your property, making your neighborhoods look better. You're gonna spend it with them. It's in our track record. We do not know what to do with money, so I don't blame them for not wanting to give it to us. And those you talking about the foreign government gets aid, and that's our reparations. The reason why these foreign governments get aid is because they have something of value that the United States want, such as resources. All right. Which is basically what it is, or they're in a territory that is next to another territory which they need access to, building military bases there. When they give out foreign aid, they're not giving it out for no reason. They're giving it out because they're buying out the leaders and they're getting the resources from that country. They're not just giving it away. You give black people this money, we're not going to provide any value back. And this is not based on hatred. This is literally based on our track record. We have to prove ourselves first before they even entertain this type of stuff. We have not proven ourselves. This is why we get treated like shit by everybody, because we don't have respect for ourselves. How are you going to ask another group of people, this government, to respect you when black people haven't respected ourselves, especially us black men? We haven't got out here and did what we were supposed to do. We have not created any economic infrastructure. All right. Our criminal rate is way too high. This coming from a
30
nigga
seconds
in the system. So like I said, man, I'm not coming from a position of hatred. I'm going off of our track record. You keep bringing up these small examples. Yeah, black people did this. Some black people did this. The light bulb. That is a small minute of black people, and they're going to make it regardless, with or without reparations. Those black people you naming who did these great stuff, they don't need reparations. You know who needs reparations? You're arguing for the masses of black people who are unproductive. That doesn't make any sense to me. When you are productive, you don't need to ask for reparations, man. You're talking about fuck it.
Brother Moses, you up?
The
We got
federal
one last
treasury is
round.
probably going.
Hold on. We
Go
got
ahead.
one last round. We're gonna let Brother Moses go. We're gonna let you go, and then we're gonna go to Ramil and back to you, and then we're gonna take a little break. Go ahead, Brother Moses. Put
The
5
federal
minutes back on the
treasury is
clock.
going to have to pay back those reparations because most people would simply believe it's unreasonable and we can't afford it. Yet they'd acknowledge the benefit of foreign aid. And let me slow down, which literally is having handed out hundreds of billions in transfers to foreign accounts. The income streams pour out, creating in part that trade deficit. And in other words, what they would claim we can't afford. See, it's my pro-Black perspective that the resources we focus across the pond, let us keep those. So how about that? Start there. That's only 50 billion. That's $1,200 per American descendant of slave. And if you would only do that, you make that budget decision, it would take about 15 years just to finally get to the reparations that were provided to the Japanese. That's only $20,000. Of course, reparations is an unreasonable amount comparatively. I can see why it brings out the bitch in you, but the federal government owes a debt nonetheless. That claim has social, economic, and political ramifications that strike across ideological lines. It echoes nationalism, and it calls for the protection of our agricultural and manufacturing production, A&Ms, HBCUs, Texas A&M types, and those alums. They see the need for an American innovation to solve this world problem like hunger and energy. And the expectation is that the Black economy can compete in providing its share of aid to the global community. But you would only have to understand that you would be aligned if you believe that that's true. Maybe you don't, but that we have a role to play in the global community and that African-American men are capable of doing so, then that is the point that he has not argued against. He says that there is no plan when I clearly laid out one. Now, the rebuttal to what I said about his, that's good. Even if you gave him the rebuttal to what he said, you would draw a line that, okay, he countered it. That would be for you to measure it. But when it comes to my actual positions, he finally said something about the light bulb. Again, that was a rebuttal to his positions that Black people were incapable, a small, minute. We understand there is work to do, and that's why capital is important. We'll take the money. Don't just focus on the money, but we'll take the money. The definitions of the debate, was there a wrong committed? Yes. He does not equivocate against that. He says it. So you would let that go past. The reparations, the definition being, was there a wrong committed? I said that that is inclusive of both slavery and Jim Crow. So afterwards, we know the economic ramifications, redlining and such. There are many cases. His only rebuttal was, well, why haven't we started filing those? But at the same time saying those Black farmers in Virginia, contradicting himself. There's a lot of double statements that he's making that we either are fighting or we're not. We're just not waiting, which is what his opinion is. I agree. We're not waiting. So my rebuttal is that criticism that he has, that it won't happen now, and therefore we might as well get over it. I disagree with analysis paralysis. Right now we have HR 40. That is the only bill for the political agenda. But for the mindset, we're not trying to convince the white people first. It seems like we have to convince ourselves, because I'll give you one more example of double talk, and I'm pretty sure my time will be up for this rebuttal round, where my opponent said, every other group, they understand race. Race is natural. I say, except for my opponent. He says Blacks are confused. I say, how ironic. Because when it comes to doing for our race, every other race, as you said, they understand racism being natural, except for my opponent. How much time do I have left?
1 minute, 12 seconds.
These aren't small examples to say these HBCUs, these 100 are small cases. The doctors and then the educated folks that we put out, and the struggle that it takes to get even to college, coming from where places like you and I both come from. So when I ask, how do you compare to a brother, similar experience and background, how do you compare as an individual? And then to compare you against how you and your economics compares to me and the fraternal brotherhood and all of the collective incomes of us versus just you is an egregious act. I wouldn't do that to you. Big bank takes little bank all the time is not something I would justify. I would only say, 30 seconds.
Yes.
I would only say that the collective interests are going to be greater. There's a bigger impact and there's more money to be had, even at your personal level. So do not dismiss the collective achievement just for your own personal anxieties about placating to the political system or white folks. Now we have work to do. And I know that you've identified even areas where we have work to do in STEM and other areas. So don't deny us that investment through reparations.
All right, we're entering the final round of the rebuttal round. We're going to let Brother Ramil make his rebuttal, and then we're going back to Brother Moses. Then we're going to take a little break. Then we're going to come to the rapid fire round. Brother Ramil, you up?
Hey, is this a debate or a rap battle? I mean, damn, it's bringing out the bitch in me. I didn't know we was throwing ad hominem attacks out here, but I'm gonna keep it cool because I know this is a structured debate, and the person who generally throws out those type of terms is already losing, man, bro. This is a simple argument. One person, at the end of the day, no matter how you put it, you are waiting. Okay, if you're waiting on somebody to write you a check, you're waiting. It's just what it is, man. And even if you get the reparations, what's she gonna do? You still gonna talk about white supremacy? You still gonna talk about racism after you get the check? You can't talk about none of that if they give you a check, but no, y'all still gonna talk about it. Here's the thing you gotta realize: the problem is not money with black people, it is our mentality, it is the culture, it is the things that money has nothing to do with it. Money is just a representation of where we at mentally. All right, and like I said, we spend it. This is not hatred. This is literally the track record. When black people get money, we spend it and we blow it. We don't think long term. We don't think generational. It just is what it is, man. You cannot dispute that. Our economics, the way we spend money, show it. All right, so I don't understand. And then with the slavery, I never said it was wrong. I said we allowed it to happen. Our ancestors allowed it to happen. Is it wrong when the lion goes and kills the zebra and eats him alive with its intestines spitting out? No, because that's nature. In nature, one dominates the other. Okay, and we think that equality is supposed to be natural. No, somebody's going to dominate the other person. And white folks have clearly shown you that they are trying to dominate. And black people, we have clearly shown everybody else that we ain't trying to dominate. Right? So it wasn't wrong for them to take advantage of our docileness. It wasn't wrong for them to take advantage of us because we allowed it to happen. All right, it just is what it is. I never said slavery was wrong. I never said Jim Crow was wrong. Those things, white people, they did that shit because black folks did not put up a fight. And even if you want to talk about the little fights we did put up, it weren't good enough. Hey, just because you fight hard, if you fight hard and lose, you still lost. All right, but we didn't fight hard because we know it's only a small percentage of black people who did fight back, as far as with the slave revolts and things like. Majority of niggas laid down. All right, so it wasn't wrong for white people to do that. It's what's wrong. I'll tell you what's wrong. What's wrong is us not defending ourselves, not fighting back. That's what's wrong. Not practicing what everybody else does, which is self-preservation and and which is nature. That's wrong. Not defending yourself. Then you're going to ask the very person who beat you in this war, took you as prisoners of war. You want to ask the same person to rectify the situation? Yo, it doesn't even make logical sense. If you fight somebody and they beat you up, are you gonna get up from the fight and ask them for $10? No, you got your ass beat. What you do is you go back, you train harder, all right? You get better, faster, stronger, and you get back out in the field again. All right. This reparations argument is real silly. It makes black people look dumb that we're just sitting here asking for a check when we haven't even produced nothing, once again, in the richest country in the world. Where all you got to do is go on your state website, file an LLC for $100, and you automatically in business. When it doesn't take a lot of money, it takes risk. But instead of risking the money we do have for something better, we spend it. We're consumers, man. And then you talking about I don't know racism is natural. I'm the first person who said it on this debate. You're trying to fight nature when you're asking another group of people to propel you to their level. Why would I do that? Why would I propel why does the master want the slave on his level? It doesn't even make sense. White people are not going to put you in a position where you can outperform them. If you want to do that, you have to earn it, just like these Asians have done. All right, just like these Mexicans who are buying up all the houses. They're not asking white people for anything. They're just getting out here and making it happen. And until we adopt that mentality of conquering and not waiting, we're going to keep getting ran over, man. And you're talking about compare economics and things like that. Look, man, I haven't worked a job in years. I'm not waiting on no fucking white person to take me into their corporations. I'm gonna get out here and get it, nigga. I'm gonna get out here and make shit happen. I get it from the mud if I have to, dog. Like my economics gets better every year because I track my progress. I'm very calculated. I utilize my brain to the fullest capacity as I can. The same thing that these white folks did when they took over your shit. All right, you're not using your brain to the fullest capacity, asking white people for shit. All right, at the end of the day,
30 seconds.
we need to be more. We need to participate in the things that make this infrastructure run. Yes, STEM. You know, people want to downplay STEM. Like, it doesn't make no sense. Science, technology, engineering, mathematics, the thing that makes this country go round. And we're not even in that on the same level as our population rate, man. Yo, and you want these niggas to give you $1 trillion, but you know what? I guess that's the bitch in me, right, brother Moses? That's the bitch in me, right? I'm gonna wait for your next ad hominem as well. But other than that, you're bringing points of victimhood. You sound like a victim. You're a bitch.
Brother Moses, you up?
Absolutely. And so here we are. The ad hominem will address it because that victimhood is a casual talking point from the alt-right as a way of dismissing the actual debt that's owed. And so now that you have the African-American men standing up, once again, like our leaders have before, saying same thing over again, we right there at them in their face, saying, I want my shit back, B. That's the bitch, not the person who says, well, let me turn the other cheek. I know you stole my granddaddy's land, you stole the labor and everything, and I'm gonna just let that pass. So the ideology of somebody confronting that they feel owes them versus the one that says, let me just ignore it. It can go back and forth. I don't think that's a victim, but I think that standing up is more bold. The conversation is hinging upon collective versus individual. So collective interest versus that personal economics. And I don't dismiss the personal economics. In fact, I will give the brother everything he needs in my level of support from me, which is probably nothing. But I'll give him everything that he needs when he says personal economics. You got my bravo, do your thing for not working. But the collaborative focus on reparations is good, is an economic boost to the Black households in America. So that's a win. To address and begin the remedy of those wrongs that are committed that we find with redlining, institutional racism, mass incarceration, all of those areas is a win. To exercise mastery of diplomacy is a win. To spread the wealth of capitalist economic systems abroad is a win. To protect the ideas of democracy and American justice is a win. To reaffirm our brand and position as a global superpower able to address the world's needs in hunger and energy, those are wins. And while I can continue to give you Black examples of excellence where we contribute and produce, it would fall on deaf ears if those are just to be outright dismissed over one ad hominem attack, maybe two. But my claim is that there are social, economic, and political ramifications that strike across these ideological lines that we benefit from when we look at capitalism. And yeah, it's bars, like a rap battle. And maybe that entertainment element that I'm adding into this debate is causing some of that information to be lost. But if someone steals your shit, at some point, you have to stand up and say, I want my shit back. And if that's a small loss that you got to take, you got to be willing to take that L before you just turn the other cheek to that theft. Yes, we are owed. Yes, we deserve it. We continue to fight. And yes, there are African Americans who will make great use of that money. Cut my checks, stacks in large amounts, big face hundreds. That's what I need in my life. Now to start, I gave economic quantifying examples of the casinos and things. You didn't argue against them. So yes, I would pull that forward if you're weighing or judging who won this debate. The idea or the notion that Blacks might squander some of it, that's consumer spending. It's a boost like quantitative easing. So yes, I would still take that as a victory and say, yeah, our economy benefits. Now I see the bigger picture. Hopefully by light bulbs That triggered the lighting Africa. So therefore the production of the growth capabilities on a global scale. That business GE actually sold for about $500 million, which is a scratch in that $1 or $2.2 trillion that we said we could immediately just by addressing racism and discrimination, which is why it came up in the first place. It does relate to STEM or STEM investments. Pull all of that shit forward if you're weighing who actually won the debate. They love STEM. So I gave them the STEM argument with an example from history, legacy, and what we would do today. And that's just the way that I feel. Because I operate at that platform, don't let it go over your head. And now, of course, I'm personally invested in it because I want my own personal check, whether I'm hustling all day, every day, 10 hours for a job or 10 hours in my own entrepreneurial endeavors. If I wanted to do real estate in America or if I wanted to do real estate in Ghana, like I showed the housing prices where he said it didn't have anything to do with anything, because you're thinking not in terms of acres, which is reparations, but you're thinking in terms of your own individual household and how you would think you would look bad for receiving it. I think you would get over that personal ill and move forward as my opponent in this debate, and as somebody who's a part of the Black community. Peace.
All right. I'm liking what's going on here, man. We're gonna take a little break because this is how we do it. A chance to, you know, stretch their legs or I don't know, do whatever it is they want to do. It looked like I have froze, I think. Yeah, I'm froze. God damn it. Am I frozen, y'all? I look frozen. I look frozen to myself.
Moving a little
Guess
bit.
I'm not. I see moving a little bit. Yeah. So we're gonna take a little break. Y'all know how we do it, you know, play a few songs, you know, shit like that. Everybody kind of you know, take a breather, 5-10 minutes. Well, probably not 10 minutes, be more like 8 minutes, something like that. Yeah, I like the way the debate is going. But what I don't like is what I'm seeing down here. This number is not matching. It's not. Appreciate that super chat, brother, Spiritual Hulk. I'm trying to get these things up, man, but shit's lagging back here in the old control room, man. It ain't that I'm not noticing it, just that the control room is lagging a bit. I'm working on it. As debate's going on, I'm working on it. So I'm trying to keep the debate flowing and work on the shit at the same time. So don't think I don't see what y'all doing. I do see what y'all doing. But anyway, I need these likes to get up, okay? 250 folks in here. I still only got 215 likes. Y'all know that ain't right. Y'all know that ain't right. Get these likes up or I will haunt you in your dreams. You look up at that bed while I be standing there tonight. I'm telling you. And once I leave from there, you know where I'm going, right? I'm leaving right from there. And I'm going right to where your black ass mama is. And I'm going to haunt her in her dreams too. But anyway, like I said, we're going to take a little break. We're going to come back. You listen to the Proper Thought series right here on the T.P.O.T YouTube page. Hour of Power debates. Brother Ramil versus Brother Moses. If you wish to drop some coins, I see you brothers dropping money in the super chat. We're also on Cash App, you know, $ capital T.P.O.T Media on Cash App. That's $ capital T.P.O.T Media on Cash App, because the PayPal has been acting crazy. Y'all can try it if y'all want to, but everybody, I got like 3 emails today and it was like, oh, X, something wrong with your damn PayPal. So just forget PayPal. If you want to donate, just donate on the Cash App, $ capital T.P.O.T Media. All right. We will see y'all on the other side of the break. And I see the GOAT out there spamming the shit out of my shit, man, with his fast typing ass. I see y'all on the other side of the break.
This is I just think it's tough. The only focus on selling words. Arguing over God. Burning sage, you feeling hurt. I'm focused on the youth. Building homes or putting work. I'm talking to you straight. Listen here, don't miss a chance. Don't mix me with these YouTube chickens. So-called hitters who do nothing but sit and spoon. The most lame and minuscule. Ideas in the interviews. Most childish and cynical. Cartoon niggas sitting looking like a Pikachu. Go on now, pick and choose. Hebrew, no Wabi, and more than short submission. Ninjas, not here, listen to. I'm talking physics while you stuck on speaking spiritual. Like building schools from Brownsville, Bankhead. Engineering projects with no need for no bank bread. Growing food, so we got no hungry, we stay fed. All hospitals, no dying in Apex. Listen hard, this is different shit, different shit. That's the race cars and the picnic bitch. That's the lane bars and the ignorant shit. Ignorant shit, black power, focus on the business, bitch. I'm black any time of day. I'm messing with these dudes that let your mind astray. I'm black in every type of way, every way. Not gonna give a fuck what they gotta say. I'm black any time of day, anytime. I'm messing with these dudes that let your mind astray. I'm black in every type of way, fucking way. Not gonna give a fuck what they gotta say. No, I ain't Moorish, I ain't Asiatic. Please don't distort shit. I don't co-sign none of these lame ones. Funny ass heads, always talking about claims, something. Arguing over black this, black that, black lives, black facts. When all I see is black blood, black trips with black cash, black scar from black tracks, black charge with black tax, black bar, no cashback, black card, who has that, brother? They even playing ball out there, that ass cap, wait. You selling souls on the cash app, hey. You get them minerals, crystals, and the sage. You still in religion, homie, you still in the kid, the bullshit. Came and show the foolishness. Fools follow one, but truly fake. Low fish, on some holy shit. Stop beef, call it police bitch. Too sweet, so you know he bitch. What street, who he rolling with? When I speak, there's belief, there's the call for action. These dudes is sweet, straight weak, better off with action. I learned it game, and it's lame, I'm better off with rap. I'm gonna send a flame, straight pain, and it's all with caption. Straight truth when I speak, dog. If it ain't about black, we won't speak, y'all. Speak up. I live in proof of what I speak of. Speak up. Pushing straight black through the speakers. I'm black any time of day. I'm messing with these dudes that let your mind astray. I'm black in every type of way. And I can give a fuck what they gotta say. Black any time of day. I'm messing with these dudes that let your mind astray. I'm black in every way. And I can give a fuck what they gotta say.
And we are back right here on the old T.P.O.T YouTube page. You know, Brother Ramil versus Brother Moses. And we are debating whether or not black folks deserve reparations. Are y'all liking the debate, man? Are y'all liking the debate? Put an X in the chat if you're liking the debate, man. I need to know if y'all liking the debate, because the likes don't convince me that y'all are liking this debate. I need y'all to put an X in the chat before I can carry on, because I need to be convinced that the folks are liking the debate. Come on. Let's see it. Let's see it. Let's see it. All right. Let's see it. All right. I'm seeing those X's starting to rise. I am seeing the GOAT is crazy. And I don't want to just see him from the GOAT, because he can goddamn type and just fill up the damn shit. So put your X in there before he starts spamming the shit, because you can't out type that Negro. All right. So we're going to get back to it. Let me bring the brothers back up while I'm up here running my damn mouth. Now, what we're going to go into now, folks, is we're going to go into our rapid fire round where we're going to kind of leave the clock alone and we're going to just let them have direct contact, a little back and forth, add a little fun to it. Let them just kind of, do some back and forth, some direct engagement. So we left off with Brother Moses, right? Yep, we left off with Brother Moses. So, Brother Ramil, you up.
Yeah, so I find it funny. It's a couple things you didn't even address, claims that I brought up through this debate. First of all, you didn't address the fact that how you're going to distinguish all the black folks, who's going to get it, who's not. As far as DNA is concerned, we already know we had an issue with white people and the $5 Indian issue. That would be a whole thing in itself. Also, the fact that only 8% of white people own slaves, and also black people own slaves. So, those can't forget that as well. And a couple things. You talking about I'm not rebutting your claims. It's a lot of things I said that you have not rebutted whatsoever. Why is there no lawsuits filed against the government? I ain't gonna throw too much for one pot, but just for now, the fact that how you gonna distinguish who gets it? What's the narrative for that? And the fact that there only 8% of white people own slaves and black people own slaves. I'll just stop right there and let you handle that.
All right, that's cool. So now you might be mistaken on two of those. I think one, that 8%, yeah, there's a number there of the 8% that own slaves, but it's like 96 million. And it's according to Sean Rochester, who's done the economic or the financial impact. But 96 million living descendants on that white side of that inheritance from that era. So even though it may seem like 8% owned it, the direct benefits.
Well, hold on. 96 million white people did what?
That are direct benefits of that inheritance or the inheritance of that slave wealth. And that's according to Sean Rochester. That's just to address the point because I missed that one. But the other two was distinguishing who gets it.
According to who? Because we know 70% of generational 70% of generational wealth is lost by the second generation.
According to?
I can pull it up right now. I mean,
all right, well, do so, and I'll finish answering the question while you pull it up. Distinguishing who gets it. I said that would be deflecting into a divergent conversation about identity. I would recommend, but I wouldn't be the key decision maker on that. But I would recommend, some of those genealogy, ancestry.com, Facebook lineage tests or whatever it is where you can actually.
That's according to NASDAQ, by the way. NASDAQ says 70% of generational wealth. I just put that link in the chat. And I think you should have the answer. You should have the answer ready, bro. As far as who's to get it, that should be. How you gonna ask for a check? You don't even know who's rightfully to get the check. This is another thing. See, black people, we just want the check. These are the things you should be crossed out already. As far as who's gonna get the check, because now you're gonna have white folks coming in the joint. Oh, my great granddad. Yeah, I thought y'all had that on hand. This is why this stuff is illogical, man. You can't. It's unquantifiable.
Are you finished?
Yeah.
So Sean Rochester, Google that too while you're saying it's unquantifiable. I told you he's the economic study that I looked at for the numbers. Now, the last point was blacks have not filed lawsuits.
You should have that source ready, but go ahead.
I said it could be available upon reply once I mentioned it. Maybe I talked too fast, but lastly, the no lawsuits I rebutted during our rounds when I told you that you even said there were lawsuits with the black farmers. You already identified that. And so you double talked and said that there wasn't, but then you mentioned
there were lawsuits against corporations. There were lawsuits against corporations. Those are the laws, not against the United States government.
So when you're saying there are lawsuits against corporations, are you admitting that there are lawsuits, or are you saying there's no lawsuits?
I said there's no lawsuits against the government, and you guys are asking the government for a check. So why are you not suing the government?
All right. And then at the same time,
no. Why are black people
anything? When you say against the government, my opening round was that the federal government owes us. So you're not saying anything.
So why are you not suing the government?
I don't know.
That's a good question. Don't try to, bro. That's a valid question. If the government owes you money,
what is the process of suing the government?
You can sue a city, you can sue a state, and you can sue the government. You can sue the United States government.
What is the process?
You go to the federal court. You go to the federal court and you pay the filing fee and you file your complaint. That's the process. It's not complicated.
And then as you didn't disagree with my definition of reparations, what is your reparations then? Because right now it sounds like you're talking about just the lawsuit rather than reparations.
If you need the reparations, you're talking about monetary, anything that's monetary value or land value, that is legal issues. And the fact that you didn't answer my question, why hasn't black people who are for reparations filed a lawsuit against the government? You asked me, how do you do it? I just told you how to do it. Go to the courthouse and you file the lawsuit. You guys want to file General Electric and all that. Why are you asking the government for a check, but there's no lawsuit against the government? That doesn't make any sense to me. It's illogical.
All right, you done?
Yeah.
All right, so that is the first part. I feel I won't go back over and say the same shit again. It feels like it's not going to move the conversation, so I'll move into
you have not answered my question. You have not answered my question, though, brother. All I want is, why hasn't black people who want reparations from the United States government filed a federal lawsuit against the United States of America? I mean, you can rub your face all you want. Why hasn't that happened? In all these hundreds of years, why hasn't there been a lawsuit filed against the United States government? And you're asking them for a check.
But what you're not doing, though, when you say the legal claims, you blow up to reparations to be any legal thing for land or assets, and you did that, right?
I mean, you want that, you want money, right? You want land, right?
Claim for land and assets and things, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what you guys are asking for, yes.
So with that definition, and I ask you, if there was a wrongful death committed and a family sued for that claim, would you consider that a reparations or no? Would you consider it a reparations against a state government or a local government or a police department? Would you consider it a reparations by your definition?
If what you claim, if they're the cause of that death, you're going to sue whoever's the cause of the death. If you're saying that the government,
who would it be?
It depends on who's the party at fault. But you're saying you identified the federal government as the party at fault. No, I'm trying to help you. You identified the federal government as the party at fault. Why is there no lawsuit against the federal government? You keep dancing around the question. Why isn't there?
It's not a dance to tell you that's what we work on through the political process, and you're talking about suing.
You have to just go to the courthouse and do it.
So let me ask you this. This might go over your head, but 1862 and that Civil Rights Act, was that a claim being filed on behalf of African Americans or no? Just in your opinion?
The Civil Rights Act that was passed through legislation?
Yes.
Okay, that's not okay. That's legislative branch. It's not judicial. So
that's why I tell you the legislature. When I opened up, just stick with me. When I opened up, I was talking about the legislative branch, even in minds. And so, if your argument is let's sue somebody else, then you would be in fact arguing for reparations in the form of suing.
No, I'm not arguing. No, I'm not arguing for. I'm just asking you guys why you haven't did it, because you're talking about it's a legislative issue, but black people have had no problem suing these corporations.
What was my position?
But I'm saying you guys have no problem suing these corporations. Obviously, it's a legal issue. Then we got to sue these corporations for reparations. So why is it not a legal issue when you should be suing the government?
But
a lot of people sue the government all the time. You had a lot of them. You had a lot of them, brother.
Absolutely. So when I tell you that it was the legislative branch, and ours is through, I even mentioned the bill, HR 40, and I say it's the political action that gets the economic. That is my opinion. So you can propose a different one, which is, why aren't you suing the federal government? And that would be still in favor of reparations. But that's why I'm not going there, because I know you equivocate on those points. Any suit that, by your definition, you didn't disagree with mine, so mine stays. But by yours, you would say, no, let's not sue legislative branch. Let's not sue these private businesses. Let's not do any of those. And your argument now is, let's use this other definition where reparations is now only suing the federal government. I said that's
I didn't use that. You guys did it because black people have literally sued corporations for us. So if you filed lawsuits against corporations, you guys made it a legal issue. And actually, it is a legal issue. A politician, you have a better chance in the court of law anyway, instead of waiting on a politician to do it. Because if you really wanted to do it through the politics, you guys would have funded politicians to go into these offices and make it happen. But black people haven't did that. You guys are literally just waiting on white folks to give you a check off their own generosity. You guys have literally not put up no sort of fight whatsoever. Asking for a legal claim against a federal court, against the United States government, it's not nothing major. It's not hard to do. And all of these years you guys have been talking about it, I was shocked when I found out that not one of you guys have went down there, paid the $200 filing fee as a class action for black people. If you're owed this, right? If they've committed a wrong against you, then you should be trying to go down the path where how you get the wrong rectified, which is through the legal arena. It's that simple. And you literally did not have an answer for that.
Because my answer was different than yours is all right. You disagree. You say sue the American government. I didn't position that. I said, well, no, you said, yes, sue the American government. I said we're using the political process through HR 40. You didn't argue against that, but you proposed your own reparations process of getting reparations. By default, you would lose the debate. Now I'm ready to move on to my question, if we may, sir.
I would not. I'm losing the debate because I'm asking you guys why you're not fighting for what you're asking for.
The counter reparations bill of getting reparations. That's your red
herring. I've been countering reparations. I've been countering reparations.
You're saying you're not doing it the right way. You said we're not working hard enough. You said all of these other areas about reparations, but that's a counterclaim for reparations.
I'm saying that because if you guys want this reparations, you're certainly not acting like it, and that's why you don't deserve it, because you're not acting like it. I'm throwing all these holes into your behavior pattern as far as to getting reparations. What do you think these white folks are going to do? And that's why I'm saying you don't deserve it, because you guys are not even going down these paths to get it, so you don't deserve it. That's why I'm arguing. I'm arguing that your behavior and what you want does not line up. You guys just want them to just give you
would have us to go down. Once again, when I said
I wouldn't have to go down nothing,
and then
I don't care for reparations
and say no, we're going to go through the courts. The courts is just an adjacency. Their office is right up the street. So you say file the paper there, they say file the paper political. My position here is that the paper be filed. So it sounds like you're saying the paper should be filed, but we're going to the wrong office. Would you agree?
If black people deserve reparations, it's not that hard. Why hadn't the paper been filed?
Answering my questions, or will I have to sit here and keep saying the same thing over and over again? My position is for reparations. You said let's take the paperwork down to the county office, and
I'm asking you. No, I didn't say that. But I didn't say that. I said, why haven't you guys did these things that are conducive to you guys going in that direction? That's all I'm asking. And my argument is that the fact that you guys have not did any of these things, simple as file a lawsuit, shows why you don't deserve it, because these are things that you can easily do. If you like you're saying, if it's the political arena, I'm asking, why haven't you guys funded any politicians to get into the office to make this happen? These are things that you do when you want something. This is what other races do. It's called lobbying. If it's a political issue, where the reparation lobbyists, all these things. Why am I telling you guys what to do?
All right, well, let me just you ain't gonna be the only one talking during this whole diatribe. First of all,
you've been going too.
The actual premise that he's actually saying is that, look, going to the Supreme Court will be a better option than going through the political process. I disagree. I think that even if you go through the Supreme Court, like Brown versus Board of Wade, they could still drag their feet.
Brown
so when I say
the
political process and I talk about an actual check, I'm talking about tangibles now, something to which we would say yes to. That is my position, to say yes, reparations are owed. We deserve those. And so I put forth the case through the political process. He disagrees. Not that we shouldn't get the check. Maybe he says that we look bad.
I know. Y'all shouldn't get shit. Don't get it. Y'all should not get shit.
And here's where it really starts to get tricky. He can project himself into the white man's shoes and say, well, if I was white, but my opponent is not white. He is actually one of us, but he uses they and y'all as if he's not included in this overall group of black men. So
you know what that's called?
The position of the opponent.
When you sell something. No. When you sit out, you threw the only ad hominem. We already counted that. But when
that's
you
what
sell
I said.
something
Let's take the ad hominem out. It's not about you being black against reparations.
Yes, it is. Let me tell you what it is. Because when you sell something to somebody,
and your point being,
when you sell something to somebody, you put yourself in the customer's shoes. It's called putting yourself in the other person's shoes, because you understand more than one viewpoint. So you're looking at the viewpoint only from one direction. I'm looking at it from multi directions. Okay, you guys I'm looking at it from the direction from the same person you're asking to give you money. If I were you, I would be looking at it, trying to look at it from their shoes too. All right, this is another problem black people have.
Look at it from the view of the white man, but I can't project myself into that same white experience. So what do? I give you the economics of it. I tell you how it will be better for the black household, the median income. We get a paradigm shift in economics, global trade, and all the different ventures that we could invest in. The Goldman Sachs.
We don't participate in global trade, though.
But
we don't do that. We don't do that now.
when you say we don't do that now, I would tell you that you're a lie, because Brother O'Shea Duke Channel was one of the places where we've both gotten some shine. He is an international media person. What are we talking about? The protection of rights. I said it was equal opportunity under the law, not enforced by those same courts. So I'm not the one being redundant. You're walking us down a path of no enforcement. Just because the courts say it does not mean that it's enforced on a political level. Politics,
Yes, it does. What do you
Homestead
mean?
Act is what I was talking about. Economic influence by the acres. 40 acres is the argument for reparations. It's land, it's actual tangibles, but you may miss that because of the bars. So can I please move forward with my question?
First of all, them bars are trash.
Solution,
Okay.
which I think is a fail on your end. Because at the end of the day, even if we did do like Ramil says, we would still be siding with reparations. Now, you can put an X in the chat, you can put a Y in the chat or a Z, but no matter what he says, he is equivocated on the courts. Can we move forward?
Bro, once again, like
no, he wants to keep moving backwards. If you say yes, we can.
I'm not moving backwards. It's called a debate. It's back and forth.
Just say you won. Just say I got that one and then move forward. But there's more points that we need to discuss.
I know. I won this whole debate, bro. I'm not even. Once again, people gonna say, they're gonna say it was biased and all that. But I already won this debate, bro. Because once again, common sense and logic is gonna always win.
Yeah, where's the economic in a capitalist society where your ability to compete is going to be contingent upon your income?
My ability to compete is not contingent on a reparations check.
We have these studies.
It's not based on the reparations check. All right, me competing is based on my own will and drive.
Again, the collective versus the individual. This is not sounding like we're going back and forth.
The collective is a bunch of individuals. All right.
Yes, black people really every group knows to protect its best interests, even those that are economic. Why do you not get that?
And that's why they perform. That's why they're doing what they do now. Except everybody's
and our avenue to get there can be reparations, or you can keep doing it as an individual, going against the collective. And
so we need reparations. Hold on.
A political agenda that is being set is for the trillions and the billions to be distributed. So if you feel like that political agenda,
why do we need reparations to practice self-interest and self-preservation?
Reparations. How do you feel you won this debate? Tell me that.
I'm saying, why do you wait? Why are you waiting on the check to practice self-preservation?
Who said?
I understand that.
When I meet,
you should be doing that now.
These great companies that we even work for now, no one's waiting. We're putting together a political agenda at a time where the 2020 elections are coming up. We've lost most.
So it's a political agenda for reparations.
What do you want us to do? Just shut up? Oh, I think you probably already said that. We're not waiting on it. But
I don't want you. I want black people to get out here and compete at a higher level and get what's ours.
That's a good desire. And why is that? Why is that mutually exclusive from a political agenda, Ramil?
Because first of all, your energy is limited. If it was a real political agenda, once again, you've had 100-some years. Where's the black politicians lobbying for reparations funded by black people? They don't exist.
Y'all DC. What are you talking about? So
what black politician right now is what black politician or any politician? Bro. What act? You just said that they're politicians. No, hold on. No, don't try to run away now. You said that there are politicians right now lobbying for reparations. Who are they? Who are they, brother?
I told you that Booker was one of the candidates even running for president, and he was one of the people who put the HR 40 back on the floor to have those.
So that was a study. That was a study. That was no.
Who else?
That was not a bill for reparations. That was a bill to study. Yes, I did. It is not for reparations.
Did you not hear when it was like in the distribution of?
It is for the study to see if black people should get it. It's not for reparations.
What are you talking about? Anyway,
bro.
So
there's no bill.
Despite that,
there's no bill.
I've even brought out in this debate that will not.
You lied, brother.
My opponent,
you lied.
Because we would rather talk about who's black.
There's no politician. There's no politician.
How do you identify yourself? As black, brown, Puerto Rican, Haitian, Asian, Cuban descent, and or whatever that might be.
Hold on, bro. Why are you trying to run away from your lie? You said there's politicians in Washington.
I want to progress the conversation to the question I have for
you. Yeah, you're going to progress it after you lie, but go ahead, man.
5 minutes on your one point about these 3 areas. No lawsuits, distinguishing who gets it, blacks and who else. I think we did a good job there. I think we've given the public what they need they can consider it. At the end of the debate, you can say, I think I won because, but at some point,
I won.
Let the conversation progress.
I know I won, bro. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even look. If you take a nigga that's spending his energy trying to get a reparations check, and you take another nigga who's spending his energy trying to create something for himself, 5 years later, we know who's going to be had the better outcome. All right, because one is dependent on another group of people to help you. The other one's dependent on his personal will and drive. Okay, you niggas keep waiting
How
on
do
this
you
check.
measure that?
That's
Is
been
that
waiting
just
on it
a
forever.
Ramilism, or is that something that you're actually like? Let's
It's
start to
common sense.
differentiate between your beliefs and which ones are the actual facts you're
It's
pulling
not my
from.
belief. It's a fact that if you wait for something that's possibly not going to happen versus you going out here and doing something, that's not real. That's a fact that the person getting out here trying to create something
So,
is going
what
to be
percentage
put
of
on their
people do you
head.
think are actually sitting around waiting on a check rather than just doing what they're doing anyway right now?
Look, any energy that you're spending thinking that
What
you're going to get the
percentage? I
check is
asked for,
waiting on the check.
quantify it. I want the full fact. What percentage of folks? How
Whatever
many of
percentage
us?
of black people, if you think you're going to get a check, you're waiting on a check.
How many? What percentage of black people do you feel are actually not
I don't
doing
know what
anything but
percentage
waiting
of
for a
you.
reparations check? Let's quantify
I
that
don't.
because you're the insight. You're the expert on this.
I'm not saying black people are not doing anything, but you can still be doing something and waiting at the same time.
You could be
That's what I'm
doing
saying.
something and waiting. So now you're agreeing again. Can I move forward now? Please,
What are
brother.
you
I got at
saying,
least
dude?
one. Can I at least get
When
one?
I say doing anything, I mean you could be doing some bullshit. You could be waking up and walking to the store. I'm not saying that you're sitting around in this chair waiting on reparations. That's what I'm not saying. I'm not saying that. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, yeah, bro, like if you have any energy, if you're spending any energy thinking that a check is coming, yes, you are waiting on it. And that same energy that you have, that you're so hopeful that it's going to come one day, you could be using that to do something else. Instead of thinking that the white man, the very white man that y'all talk about, white supremacy this, white supremacy that, the very
saying it
nigga that
again
y'all
doesn't
talk
make it
about
any
in
more
the B,
true
hold
or
on,
more less
in the
true
B1
than you said
side.
the last time. We've addressed that. Can I ask my question, or will you continue to
What's
try
your,
to
what's
dominate
your
the
question, bro?
conversation?
What's your question, brother?
Jesus, thank you. All right. So, a couple of the key points that I was trying to bring out, hopefully, in this debate. Of course, I'm going to go on the international ramifications argument. Now, I say it could be a collective good for capitalism, the ideas, the principles of democracy and American justice. You just say it would be a shame. I heard that, or that we would blow it off. So, let me ask, and this was, if you will allow or just entertain, as a personal anecdote, for all of the trillions of dollars that could be cut into reparations, do you yourself, personal anecdote, if you will allow, you can just say no if you don't, but do you yourself see an opportunity where more capital allows you to achieve greater at whatever it is you're doing anyway, not waiting for a check? That would be my question, is just a personal reflection on what you would do with the money.
More capital will help anybody. I mean, what are you saying? I mean, but I'm not going to wait on capital from the government. If I need capital, I'm either going to go out and create something for my businesses to bring it in, or I'll crowdfund, or I'll go to the. I mean, bro, I'm not. The last thing I'm going to do is wait on the very same people that you guys say don't
So
care
you're
about
not
black
going to
people,
answer
hate
the
black
question.
people.
You're just going to
I'm
continue to
answering
repeat
it.
the
You
same
said,
topic.
will capital help me out? I said, yes. Of course, capital. But I can get capital. You know what I mean? I'm not waiting on the capital from the government.
Do you
Yes,
consider
capital will help
do
me
you
out.
consider yourself a part of the black community?
There is no black community.
Do you consider yourself black? Do you
But I
consider
am.
is your household a
Do I
black
consider
household?
what?
Is
Do
your
I consider
household
myself
a
black?
black household?
Yes, I'm black, dude. Yes,
And is
I'm
your
black.
household a black
Yes,
household?
yes. My household is a black household. Yes.
So at the end of the day, you feel like you wouldn't fuck it up. Like you have a game plan that you would be able
I
to
mean,
you would make that shit work.
bro, I have a game plan with or without a check. I have a game plan now. I don't have to wait on a check to have a game plan. That's what black people's problem. We're waiting on other external factors to have a game plan. We should have had a game plan 150 years ago. Not waiting on a check to have a game plan. We should already have that.
All right, that was my question. Thanks. Do you have another one, or are we done with the round?
I see X coming back in.
Let me hold on. Let me ask you brothers a question.
Shoot.
What do you consider reparations when we, because we have this kind of talk all the time on the internet, up here on these YouTubes? What would you consider reparations to be? Your definition. Whoever wants to
Capital investment. So I consider reparations just in the same terms of the definition that I provided. Reparations is making amends for a wrong that was done by paying money to or otherwise helping those who have been wronged. So it's a broad definition, but it was the first one that I Googled, and that's why I opened up my debate with the clear definitions. Thanks for the question.
Brother Ramil?
I mean, well, look, the debate is reparations, and according to the B1 side, who I'm debating right now, is cut the check. So obviously, it's money for alleged wrongdoing hundreds of years ago that still allegedly affects us today. So I'm taking the definition that is being used by my opponent, which I already hear this hashtag cut the check. So reparations is money. Niggas want money. They want a check.
So do you brothers feel that only money, reparations can only come in the form of money, not other things like land, property, education, medical care, dental, freedom, liberty, all that shit, diplomatic community,
Absolutely.
whatever.
So my list is not
feel-
at ad nauseum, or it's not exhaustive. I agree with the paying money, which is why I'm not against the hashtag cut the check. But yeah, I absolutely see it as bigger than that, which is why the broader definition, which said otherwise helping those who have been wronged, it can come in a lot of those forms. So for instance, I'll give two examples so as to not to be long-winded. The inheritance tax is something that other groups have been able to protect, which is the passing down of that intergenerational wealth created at that time when they were issuing out those homesteads. So all of that land, that goes to the reparations argument of 40 acres and a mule. When I look at 40 acres, the capital that's needed, or the capital of generation year over year on 40 acres of a designated land, that is astronomical. That's what makes the conversation so unreasonable. That's what makes it trillions of dollars, which is why my plans are like lighting Africa, something where you have that much fucking land, that much opportunity where your investments can actually stretch. I use an economic position as my number one example on just the land. And then I use an example, they always like to use STEM on my opponent's side. And so I use an example of those patents where we didn't receive government or court protection or equal protection under the law, as well as equal protection under the law and continuum when I bring up the redlining and those other things that create the economic disparities today. So financial literacy is a solution to something, but reparations is the capital that is needed to manage even that financial literacy or those financial gains. Thanks for the question.
All right, Brother Ramil.
Go ahead with the next question, man. My Amazon groceries just got here. I'm bringing him in the crib, but I heard him.
No, what I was saying was, when we talk about reparations, I know you think we don't deserve them, but when people talk reparations, is it just about money, land, medical, education? I mean,
well, I find it funny how Moses said all those things, but at the end of the day, when you ask black people about reparations, they're not ever saying that. They're only talking about cut the check. Well, Moses said you had to ask them twice to get that out of him. They just want the money. Of course, reparations is a lot of different things, such as land, resources, medical, and things like that. But to black people that we're talking about, they just care about the money. It's always cut the check, cut the check. They don't even see anything beyond that. And this is why you don't deserve them, because you go to any of these discussions, go on B1 platforms, they're not talking about better land, grants, better schools. They always talking about cut the check. I mean, so that's just how they look at it.
Well, let me ask you a follow-up, Brother Ramil. Would you be more apt for reparations if it wasn't just money? If it was, say, free health care for all black folks, or free education for all black folks, or letting black folks out of jail who've been convicted wrongly, et cetera, et cetera. Would you be more for it then?
I'll be more for it if it was, because I'm not with that cut the check stuff. I'm not with that money stuff. If they want to offer things that are going to benefit us on a informal level, then maybe I will be open to it. But I'm just against black people asking for free shit. We have not did what we can do. We have not maximized our potential without all this stuff, without the reparations. So my thing is that why are you going to give a group of people something who haven't made something of themselves to the fullest potential yet, to this point in time? We, like I said, even Brother Moses said, only 2% of us, we only own 2% of wealth when we should own 13%. So if we haven't maximized what we can do in this country without it, I don't understand why we asking for more free stuff. They already gave you welfare. They already gave you guys plenty of room to live. They didn't exterminate you when they was done with you. I mean, you're asking for more free stuff when you have not maximized your potential here already. So I might be open to it, but it's just like, for what? You can get all this stuff with we should already have intact communities. We should already have schools that are and healthcare. We should already have the stuff in the community. It should be standard. You shouldn't be asking nobody else for it. These other groups of people, they don't operate like that. What the government gives them is a bonus, but they're already operating at optimal capacity without it.
And can I respond right there? Or
yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and let you brothers engage for another 10 more minutes, and then we're gonna go to the closing statements, final round. Go right ahead.
All right, so he just had like 3 minutes. I was watching the clock of him answering against his own position that he didn't stand on, right? So he just asked him a little sneaky ass, are there forms of reparations that you would be willing to concede? He said absolutely yes. I want you to hold that.
I did not say absolutely yes. I didn't say absolutely yes.
Look, he got 3 minutes, bro.
But don't put words in my mouth, because I didn't say absolutely yes. That's what I'm saying, bro. Don't be inaccurate with what I said.
All right,
I said absolutely yes. But now let me move forward.
Brother can ask Moses the same questions. Are there any conditions where you would not be for reparations? And Brother Moses is going to stand on my square and say absolutely not, because it's owed. It's not a bonus. It's not something on a slap on the slide because you've done so well. It is something that you are owed. And when you stand up and confront the motherfucker that owes you, that is bold. And it's that individualism that says, yeah, I got to do so. I got to stand. I got to pull my own nuts, whatever. Yeah, if you're feeling brolic to go down to the court office and cash or sign or file that petition, then that's going to be that individual. On the collective, I proposed the political agenda. And yes, I feel like that conversation would have to stand up to people telling me just give it up. No, I don't wait on it. So the more he hops on that, wait, is not my argument. In fact, I'm the opposite of that argument and says we're in a political climate right now that is right for us to stand on up again. So let's go on and stand on up again. How do we do so? We do so by these type of conversations, putting it in the airways, letting them know that the next millennia, this group of young men have these conversations. This is serious. This isn't just a place where we have 200 people today. There'll be 3,000 later, but outside of these YouTube streets, the conversation is being held even in Washington, D.C. with lobbyists. That's how we can mention places or cases like Virginia. Now, we said you got 3 minutes, and I will say, no, I would not equivocate from that stance. While there may be solutions in healthcare and other spending where my opponent would be willing to just cede the conversation and say yes. Some court cases and maybe even some healthcare and maybe in the form of bonuses. I say I'll take all of that. And the problem with me isn't do they cut the check? The problem with me is when. And I say right now. Now, there are people who want to take the conversation to whether or not it will happen. And that's for you to determine. But my job is to say we deserve it. Read the title. And then there are people who will say, well, the white man ain't going to give it to you. And that's not my concern. Mine is for rustling the minds of these black men to stand up and say that dude owes me. Find them. And then there are those who would say, well, they would fuck it up as a deflection. And I would present information that shows you where we have excellence and opportunity to earn our 8% or 13% gross net or gross national product contribution on a global stage. Now, if he doesn't like that information, it's already in the airwaves. It is said, and so it is. Thank you.
So once again, you keep putting words in my mouth. When he asked that question, I did not say yes. I said maybe it depends on what the situation, but I'm not with the free shit. That's what I said. Because when you give black people free shit, once again, when I say that we'll fuck it up, you keep saying, oh, I show examples of black people doing amazing things with what we have, but that is the anomaly. Once again, we know the position of most black people. We know the position of most niggas. We are consumers. We are spenders. That's why we don't own anything right now, man. Like, so I would appreciate if you quit putting words in my mouth, because you niggas do not deserve reparations. You have not put forth the behavior to do it, to deserve it. You have not went down any practical steps to get it. All right, you keep saying that you lied again. Talking about there's people down there lobbying for who's lobbying for reparations, man? Quit telling that lie. Nobody's down. You guys have nobody in Washington, D.C. lobbying for a payment to African Americans in the form of reparations. All right. So where are you coming from with that? Stop lying, dude. There's no politicians or lobbyists down there saying, yo, I'm for black people getting reparations, except for that white bitch, and you guys didn't even vote for her. So she's nowhere to be found. She was trying to run for president. You know what I mean? She said she'd give y'all $100 million. Oh, that's not enough. I mean, so there is currently no politicians and no lobbyists going for reparations. So you should stop telling that lie. Y'all there?
Brother Moses.
Oh, okay.
Brother Moses.
Yeah,
we're still gonna go for like another 5 more minutes, so we're still in the wrap out. So
that's cool.
To engage.
It doesn't take much. Hillary O. Shelton, they registered for the NAACP. I'm not an advocate. I'm somebody who actually agrees like you. The lobbyists should be stronger, but that is the actual person that you can contact, look up, Google, do whatever it is that you want to find your lobbyist. And if you want to have that conversation on an offline, I'll leave it right there. It's not a lie, brother. We may not be as informed as we need to be on some of these issues. And so every once in a while, I do want to actually go into the Malcolm X version of what needs to be said. Look, if I take the wages of everyone here individually, it means nothing, but collectively, all of the earning power and wages that you earned in 1 week would make me wealthy. And if I could collect it for a year, I'd be rich beyond dreams. Now, when you see this and then you stop and consider the wages that were kept back from millions of black people, not for 1 year, but for 310 years, you'll see how this country got so rich so fast and what made the economy as strong as it is today. And all of that slave labor that was amassed in unpaid wages is due someone today. And you're not going to give us anything. It's not giving, that's owed. Brother, that's ours. And when we stand up and go claim it, we'll be in a better position economically to compete on a global scale. That's my argument. I'm going to stick with it. I think it's reason enough to fight. And I think that it's reason enough to continue to have these type of debates, even though it turns around and becomes, a little bit of a fuck show. I was very triggered. Again, this is one of those conversations. Oh, and I would disagree about the whole 310 years. I don't even put the number of slavery on 310 years. I say slavery and Jim Crow. So I include even more in that analysis and the economic ramifications thereof. And so therefore, I feel like I've contributed a hell of a lot to this build, this conversation on reparations. I have my closing arguments coming. Be on the lookout for those. But while we pivot into that, I do want you to take away a couple of key points here. That when we are talking about that 2.2 trillion, that was the number that was just equated to eradicating that racial discrimination in income. That was just the one. That was just one. But the actual reparations number is a lot larger than that. To say we're at 2.1 trillion today, I see the benefit in increasing that. And that's what I would continue to argue. So that's Brother Moses. That's the content that I have. Hopefully it was enlightening and uplifting to someone. At this point, I am going to yield the rest of the back and forth to Brother Ramil for his closing. And then I think he goes into a closing argument. But appreciate everybody in the chat. Thanks for rocking with us.
Well, I just had a question. Well, you said the NAACP. Who's from the NAACP lobbying again? What's that name again? Brother Moses, you said somebody from the NAACP is lobbying for reparations?
Brother Moses.
What's the name of that? What's the name of him or her? You on mute, bro. You're on mute. I can't hear you.
You muted, Brother Moses.
All right, well, he's on mute, but let me just remind him that NAACP is a Jewish white organization. But either way, so it's time for closing statements or what? Where we going with it?
No, we're gonna break for about another 5 minutes, and then when we come back, I'm gonna bring my timekeeper back, and we're gonna have our closing arguments. All right. Are you done with your statement, Brother Ramil?
Yeah, I'm good. I'll save everything for the closing. Yeah, I'll save everything for the closing. Yep.
All right. All right, you heard it, folks. Now we are going to come to the closing statements. And like I said earlier, if the brothers have time, they'll field a few questions from the chat. I don't know what they look like on their clocks, but when we come back on the other side, go ahead and we're going to take some questions right after closing statements. You listen to the Proper Thought series right here on the T.P.O.T YouTube page. Don't go anywhere, because if you do, I will haunt you in your goddamn dreams. And I mean tonight. When you wake up, I'll be standing next to that bed. I'll be standing there. Your wife see you jump up, boy. You'll be like, ah! She'll be like, what's wrong with you, Negro? Don't you see X standing there? He's there, I tell you. You listen to the Proper Thought series right here on the T.P.O.T YouTube page. See you folks on the other side of the break.
Hours of power. Hours of power. Hours of power. Hours of power. Hours of power.
Don't make the mistake that most of your mothers and fathers made. When I wake up in the morning, my prayers, and I thank God I woke up. The Ku Klux Klan woke up this morning. The drug pushers woke up this morning. I thank God that I made another 24 hours in the most vicious, nasty, hateful, insane nation that's ever existed, with my wits, without hating, without being bitter, without being mean. And I thank God that I survived 24 hours in that type of atmosphere, with the type of amusement and friendliness. And so I would say to young folks, don't be in a state of denial of the racism and sexism, but don't let that block you. Don't teach your children that you have to be twice as good as a white. That's an awful thing to teach your children. Mm-hmm. That's like saying because you're black, white America has a right to change your dollar for 94 cents. But we used to get 50 cents, and before that we used to get nothing. Young folks have to say, we don't want more change for $1. Excuse me, we want a full dollar's change for $1, or this cash register will never ring again. Yes. I would also like for young blacks to understand that about 83% of all employment happen with small businesses. And if you don't have a small business, then you have nobody to work for you. And I would say to young blacks, get into entrepreneurship. We will never catch up with white America till we get into business, because there's a thing called tax write-offs. And if you have a job and come together, 10 of you, and open up a corporation and have somebody run it, you hire somebody to run it, but you have tax write-offs. 98% of people that fly first class on airplanes would not be there if that wasn't a write-off. And yet, on that first class, they gave away last year $800 million, almost $1 billion of free whiskey. But if a welfare mother asked for some apple juice for the baby, she's laughed at. And so I would say entrepreneurship, and then understand that we will never survive as a group until we get into communities and not neighborhoods. A community is, I control the police, the banks, the schools, the firefighters, and I control the flow of the money. And I have no problem when I go in the Jewish neighborhood and the shop owners are Jewish, and I go into an Italian neighborhood and shop owners are Italian. I have a problem when I come in a black neighborhood and the shop owners is not me. A Korean has a right to come in and buy my shop for $30 million more than it's worth. That's a good business. But if we decide that we're not with that one. Then he'll have to sell it back, or she'll sell it back to a black person for $1 million. And then the money circulates, and that's you change. We've been so busy dealing with pain and the misery and glamorizing a hand few that have made it, that we have never really looked at, like they say, your role model. If you have a house, you should fall on your knees and pray to God because something is wrong.
Yes.
And so I would say to young folks, it's not about alcohol, but it's hard for me to say that to you when a 5-year-old got to reach past mama's beer and papa's wine to get some mayonnaise. I would also say to young folks that the number one drug that will wipe you out is not cocaine, it's not heroin, it's marijuana. And they deliberately make that a recreation drug, but it stays in the muscles, it stays in the blood, and it will wipe out your memory bank. And also, this is the first time in the history of TB that TB has always been known as poor folks. It's the first time that TB is not running rampant in the ghetto. It's running rampant in middle income white America because it's the marijuana that they spray, and that's no accident. And so I would just say to young folks, you have to reevaluate everything you've been taught. I would say to the black folks that just because a black person is 90 years old don't mean they have wisdom, and you need to listen to them, because if you was dumb and stupid when you was 9, you're dumb and stupid when you're 90.
Open your mind, open your mind, open your mind, open your mind, open your mind.
And we are back. Well, it's time for closing statements. We've come to the end. We've come to the end of this debate. So let me bring everybody back up. Brother Moses, Brother Ramil, and of course, the timekeeper, Brother Arthur Style. I believe we left off with Brother Ramil, right? We left off with Brother Ramil. So, Brother Moses, you up? Can we get 7 minutes on the clock? Timekeeper, please.
7 minutes coming right up.
You're muted, Brother Moses.
Yeah, that's yours. You ran out of brownies?
You muted. You're muted, Brother Moses. You're muted, Brother Moses. Brother Moses, you're muted. Unmute yourself. You don't know he's muted. You're muted, Brother Moses.
He might have to go out and come back in.
Hear you.
I think he has to go out and come back in.
Yeah.
Damn,
you might have to
now?
go out.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Damn.
Go ahead, reset.
I
Go ahead, reset
find
the
that
clock,
screen to
brother.
save my life. It was buried underneath everything that I had because I was working on a couple of other projects for work. But no worries. How much time do I got?
Don't worry about
finish out.
No. You got 7 minutes. We're gonna reset the clock. Go ahead, reset the clock, brother Art.
All right, I appreciate that. All right, so the closing arguments are for reaffirming the positions that I believe should be pulled forward. Now, I'm a genuine guy, and there are some points that my opponent made that directly rebutted some of the claims that I made. So those ones, they may not be even mentioned right now. But if I could put it on ballots to make it simpler for anybody, lay judges. So I did collegiate debate, and it was a formulaic approach towards saying who won. It was the major premises, and then you evaluate those major premises as debated throughout the debate. And those small sectors that you went back and forth, that's for anyone to determine. But at the end of the day, it's the major premise and how it was addressed. The prerequisite then for me was to establish what the definition of this debate was, which is the first point that I would pull forward. In the definitions, I don't think that my opponent now or even during the debate really had a conflict with the way I defined it. And so then if you don't have a problem with the definition being open and broad, then the key terms that I laid out according to those definitions are able to be qualified or scored as bullets. Second thing that you can look at are those rebutted points that the opponent made where you feel I actually did rebut their major premises, right? So any of the ones that I made that were not adequately rebutted, or when you look at it, you say, yeah, they dealt with some of the circumstantial evidence or the claims that were made, but the actual point itself would still ride. So those ones are in favor of, you give the point, and then whenever the person had an adequate rebuttal to your standard for the lay judge, you would also give them those points. With that being said, I think that I have at least 4 points, and I'm being conservative here. I'm mostly liberal, but 4 points. 2 would be for the actual definition. I was looking at one solution, which was a political agenda, and saying, yeah, in light of the political agenda, we do deserve reparations. That study, the bill that's out there, all that information is right. Now, we went down the line and argued about semantics, whether or not they would give it to us, what we would do if we got it, semantics on identity, and all of those other peripheral issues. But the question is, did I give you a legitimate premise rooted in politics? And the answer is still yes. We do deserve it by the standards of that study. Let's keep moving. The second one, then, that I feel I pulled all the way through is this collective agenda versus that individual agenda. That is my major premise. I keep it, I hold it, I stand on it. I know that we come from a position of excellence and intellect. I know that we've contributed in a number of ways. We've shown that and demonstrated it. So by definition of the debate, the first time he said we haven't produced anything and I give you a Latimer Lewis, you say, well, he lost that point. The overall premise still stands. And then the second I show you the global ramifications of the Lighting Africa movement, the households that still need to be lit, and that is an opportunity as for what we do with our reparations, our talented minds. Now, that was just one person, and it was only 500 million, a scratch in the bucket. I gave you the legitimate information, not my own personal perspective, but the collective argument. And I gave it to you in a form of nation building. Now, I didn't rest it upon the shoulders of the NAACP. I didn't rest it upon a hashtag ADOS movement. I didn't rest it upon even the Congressional Black Caucus or the Chamber of Black Commerce. I didn't rest it upon the 2.1 million homes, but that is a rebuttal point. It is beneath the major conversation that we were having. Anything about the education and the opportunity areas that we're looking to resolve with reparations, the income inequality, all of those are subsections of the major premise. Does the major premise ride to you? Did we prove it by definition, and did we prove it from a collective view? If those two are with you, then you would say, yeah, he got those two, and you would agree. And then on the two that he had an issue with, his number one contention, if nothing is stopping you right now, was then moved to, it's reparations is not affirmative action. It was, what did he say? Like something like women get child support or something. I don't know what the damn statement was, but it was along that same equivocation. My only rebuttal to that is that it's looking at reparations from a macro lens, an individual household one, rather than reparations being the conglomerate of the 40 million, to all of us. And so when you're looking at economics and impact, that one household receiving, the $1,200 is not equivalent to that same $1,200 that I said would take 15 years as my rebuttal just to get to what the Japanese already received in the form of reparations. That was a rebuttal, but it was intellectual and it probably went right over his head, which is why he didn't really address it again. But those casinos still being a good thing is an excellent rebuttal that says nothing is stopping you. No, these are the opportunities we want. And so we want the capital. The 2.1 million businesses is a sign of 2.1 million Black businesses is a sign of we are doing something. We are the individuals. The government helps people who want to help themselves. That's the sole proprietor, the entrepreneurial way. They invest in STEM. That is their way. And then that second point. We're not, oh, excuse me if it wasn't clear. The racial discrimination, housing, redlining, all of those issues that fucked up credit scores, FICOs, and all of that shit. That is an economic argument. That is financial institutions, and that is reparations for me, or reparations for the big. But we're not participating at the rate we should be. And I guess we attribute that to the political
30 seconds
climate. I got you. And I guess we attribute that to the political
30 seconds.
It looks like I even found my other one. Those would be his 2 points. One, you niggas are lazy and you don't deserve it, which I countered with information too, that you're just not ready for it. What would you do if you got it? Nothing's stopping you from getting it. Your personal, yeah, that's all right. My counter, collective agenda first right now in these times. My 2 points that I pull forward, I give me 4. Let him come up and say where he wins, and they should be 4 clear and distinct positions like I gave. And now that he has a formula for winning, maybe he can give you even 5. Peace and thanks for joining. This thing been tripping.
Brother Ramil,
Yeah,
final statement, closing argument. Brother Art, 7 minutes on the clock, please.
Okay, here it comes.
You know, you keep saying, all right, yeah, man. So you keep saying, you know, when I say Black people, we don't produce enough, you keep bringing up these anomalies. Once again, you bring up Lattimore, one dude. Okay, yes, a few Blacks have produced great inventions. I'm not denying that whatsoever, but that is a small, minute majority of us. And those people who did do those who were productive, they don't need reparations. But aside from that, all those points you brought up, I've already went at them and rebutted them during the debate. So this is closing statements going to close out on the actual subject of the debate. Do Black people deserve reparations? Hell no. Only Black people were silly enough to allow themselves to be enslaved for hundreds of years. Slavery was an L. You do not get paid for taking the L. All right. Only Black people expect equality to be given. All right. And once again, there's no lawsuit filed against the United States government, which you guys say owe you money, but there's no lawsuit filed against them. That's funny. All right. Other people have got reparations. Other races have got reparations, but that's because they were building without it. They were going to build with it or without it. You help people who want to help themselves. All right. If your reparations is the fact, once again, that the United States did not exterminate you in concentration camps after slavery, you're still here. You have a chance to compete in the richest country in the world, and you can make as much money as you want, as well as your skills will allow you to. All right. The government, once again, they spent $3.9 trillion on defense last year. That is the biggest allocation of the budget. You're asking for 10, 20, 30 times that amount in a one massive payment to Black people. That is illogical. That is magical thinking. That's why I said the United States government will exterminate Black people before they give you guys hundreds of trillions of dollars. It doesn't make sense. And when guys want to keep talking about HR 40, it's in the works. HR 40 is not a bill for reparations. It is a bill for the study of reparations, the study of the quote unquote wrongs done to Black. It is not a bill directly saying, yo, once this bill passes, we're going to get reparations. And I find it funny because it's still stuck in the first phase, just as it has been since last April when it was introduced. It hasn't even moved. All right, so I find that question as well. Another thing Moses still never answered as far as who would be paid. Yeah, you guys haven't even figured any of this out. As far as who would be paid, who qualifies, who's actually Black and who's not, to prevent the $5 Indians joint. You guys are not prepared for reparations. You guys have not prepared. You don't even know who's going to get it. You said it yourself. All right, so if you really want reparations, to me, it would seem as though you would be on point and have everything. Once again, there's no single group clearly responsible for slavery. white people, only 8% of them were slave owners. You had to be wealthy to house, feed, and take care of slaves so that they can produce get the cotton and all that stuff. Only a small percentage of whites were able to do that. All right. Another thing is that there were black slave owners, something he didn't even touch on the whole debate. The fact that there were black people who owned slaves, so he didn't touch on that at all, which is that's cool, But all in all, man, the fact that we're not building anything without reparations while being in the richest country in the world, why would somebody want to help you? They see the way we act. Yes, we will blow it off, and that's not hatred. It's just going off of our track record, our economic track record. We don't spend money correctly. We like to blow that shit. We like to waste it. That's just what we do. Just because you want to bring up the small, minute percentage of black people who might not do that, which I'm glad for them. I wish it was more of us. That doesn't negate the fact that if you give us reparations, we'll fuck it up. All right, and then once we fuck it up, you guys won't be able to talk about white supremacy no more. You guys won't be able to talk about racism because this white man gonna look at your ass like, "Hold up, nigga, I paid you." All right, so black people don't deserve reparations because we have not proven, not to anybody else, to ourselves, that we can function at a high level in this society, which is wide open for the taking. We steady asking white people for shit when we haven't realized they don't fuck with you. I find it so funny how, and you guys are calling them white supremacy, white supremacists. White people do this, white people do that. You guys make content all day about what these white folks do, but you're turning around, you're asking those same white folks that you call devils, cave people, you're asking those same people to cut you a check for trillions of dollars. It does not make any sense whatsoever to be asking. I'm not gonna waste my time doing that. I'm not gonna waste my time asking the person who does not like me in the first place for a check. It does not make sense to me. When I can use that same energy to work towards my own goals. You guys look silly out here with this reparations BS. You don't deserve it. And if you did deserve it, you guys definitely would not be operating in the way you operate now. All right. There would definitely be more political action, definitely be more legal action, but you guys are not doing any of that. The thing is that this racism thing is natural. It's called self-preservation. And instead of black people being mad at white folks and everybody else for practicing self-preservation at your detriment, maybe you should start practicing self-preservation too. You ever thought about that? Because if you were doing that from the get-go, wouldn't be in a situation in the first place. All right. Other races, once again, they are more responsible with capital than we are. Not saying they're all perfect, but you give other races type of money like that, they're going to create something. There's no guarantee that blacks will make anything out of it. All right. And that's proven once again with our past track record when it comes to money. You keep bringing up this anomaly, keep talking about Akon, Africa, how we're going to light up Africa. I don't understand how that has to do with you getting reparations. You don't know where it's going to come from. What about Africa's role, which I brought up earlier in the debate, which you never counted as well? Are you going to get reparations from the west coast of Africa? I mean, so many factors in this. It's a lost point. The truth is, if you really wanted reparations, you should have got on it early. You should have got on it right when it happened. At least no more than 20 years. We're 100 plus years past this. And it's going to be 200 soon. It's going to be 200 years soon because 2065 coming up since slavery has been over with. All right. Things like this require action immediately, or at least within the first generation. The reason why a lot of you guys want reparations right now is because not you personally, but a lot of black people are just we're not doing shit. So we want to get saved. We want to get bailed out by a check. All right. So if you want to get bailed out by a check, go apply for welfare. And that's another thing too. Welfare is a form of reparations. All right. They have paid small sums of reparations to people already. But once again, black people want a end-all be-all savior to our problems. And the only end-all be-all is you. It's up to you to make sure that you're secure. Up to you, not nobody else.
And that brings our debate to a close. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I don't know how much time the brothers have, because I know these brothers are busy. We usually field some questions, a few questions from the chat. I don't know if y'all are in the mood for answering some questions. I don't know.
Man, let's do that. I could do that.
You good on the clock? How about you, Brother Moses?
You got some from the super chat? I can acknowledge those ones, but then I got to run.
Okay. Well, Moses don't got a lot of time, y'all. So y'all better hurry up and fire your questions because he got to go. If you have any questions for Brother Moses, you got to shoot him now.
I think I saw one a little bit earlier. It was like any history about where Black folks actually received the reparations or something like that.
Yeah, but they got to ask him at this time. This is the question time. They can't ask him 2 hours ago and expect us to scroll back up. And
that's right.
This is Q&A time. You want to ask, now's the time. I see my man Q Butter in the house. What's good, brother Q? I see you up there, brother.
Q Butter, what up, King?
Come on. If you got any question for Brother Moses, they have to come now because he has to go. All right. I don't see any. They ain't hitting.
I mean, there's no questions because I mean, you know, go ahead. I ain't go. Oh man, you know, the argument was clear and concise, man. You know, everything was on the table.
Well, I just want to say salute to you, T.P.O.T. Once again, you've opened up your platform to discourse.
Hold on, Brother Moses. This might be a question for you. It says, Moses says we are competing globally. Can he give an example of a product or service the world looks to Blacks to provide other than entertainment and the Black-owned company providing it?
Oh, and the Black. Yeah, so entertainment is one of our big ones. Let's do it this way and say, I would say, what is it? The Weather Channel has global significance when it comes to national disasters. And that's one of the brothers who is actually pushing to include language from 1862's Civil Rights Act inside of his court case that he's filing against like Comcast and such. The Weather Channel itself, if you look at it, it's kind of entertainment-ish, but from the natural disasters or having the satellites that can diagnose global weather phenomena, I think that's one of the areas where the global community looks to us for that. And so that's the one that I would use. Thanks for the question.
Any more for Brother Moses? That's directed. We're taking questions for Brother Moses right now because he has to bounce. All right, I ain't gonna hold you up, Brother Moses. They slow on the buttons, man. I know. I already told him you gotta go. Going once, going twice, 3 times. Negroes, I told you the man gotta go, and y'all moving slow. So, go ahead. You want to close out, Brother Moses?
Absolutely. So I was just saying, man, you opened up your platform for some great conversations. I think this is one of the most relevant conversations that can be had in the white noise that is YouTube. As we continue to create, these type of platforms, I'd mentioned it in the back chat to you. There were some other opportunities where people are actually debating. It's theological debate, sometimes on that Bible or whatnot, but there's also some other conversations and other debate platforms. Hopefully, as this continues to grow, keep getting the numbers that you're getting, man, you be driving them in. Folks like Ramil, folks like Mr. Fantastic, they brought in a lot of views on that. And so we're going to continue to use that media or our media and our voices to support you when we can. Thanks for inviting me to the debate. Thanks to my opponent, Ramil. Once again, want to make sure that we land on at least good terms. The ad hominem attack was an attempt to re-trigger. I was triggered. That's not an entire apology because I think the reference
I'm not worried about that,
but I shouldn't have used it in the form of a debate in a public space. You caught it immediately and did bring it out as a file to the debate. So I do want to acknowledge that. That's a big up to you as well. B1 Network, B1 Brother Taz, the Goats, Bro Rob, everybody that we saw in the chat that was rocking with us during the debate. Thanks for lending your time. Appreciate you all coming. Those who don't identify as B1, but you continue to rock with the different platforms that you see in Black YouTube. Salute to you all as well. Q Butters Ziyex Institute is something that I actually support. So STEM education, I actually do so with my labor hours and I contribute there. I would say do the same. We're not sitting around waiting. That is a deflection in this argument. And yeah, there were some points, like I said in my closing round for Ramil. Don't feel like I left it hanging, but there were some points that you made that I could not argue against, like Blacks owning slaves and the argument about what race gets them and all of that. There's no short version of how you decode that. So I just cede it even in the closing rounds. For everyone else, render my salute who watch it in a restream, share this with somebody. And then again, I appreciate it. So yeah, Robert Smith was the first guy that I was going to celebrity drop. I decided not to. Byron Allen was the other celebrity guy that I wanted not to, just to stay away from the small anomalies. But I think their contributions should be inside of a reparations debate and what it looks like for the potentiality of that type of $2.2 trillion investment. Ask them and see where their minds would go. And then we would have a more adequate assessment. Not Brother Moses debating on YouTube, but ask those two brothers and see what they would have to contribute to that political agenda. And that's the last thing that I'll leave on. So peace and salute.
Well, hold up.
Before you leave, Brother Moses,
go ahead. Let me just go.
Okay.
Hold up, because he do have a question that's up here. It says, why did, and I'm reading it because it was super chatted. They put 5 on it. It says, why did you beat Ramil up so badly? That wasn't right, fam. B1.
True. But real quick, shout out to Brother Moses. All right, I ain't worried about none of that attack. I would just bring it up because for debate purposes, but I'm good, bro. Like, I'm thanks for the debate. Shout out to Brother Moses. If y'all don't know, I fuck with Brother Moses. You know what I'm saying? He if y'all don't know, he done been a customer to some of my other businesses. So this ain't no ill will or anything like that. It's just a debate on reparations. Right. But as far as Brother Moses, you yourself as an individual, ain't no ill will whatsoever, bro. Like, I rock with you in a lot of your talking points and what you say, just not on this. You know what I'm saying? But so I don't want anybody in the chat to get it confused or if it's any bad vibes and like that. It was a debate, and in a debate you got to go hard. That's just what it is. So I'm not just don't get anybody get it twisted.
Oh, absolutely, brother Moses is official. I'm subscribed to Brother Moses shit.
Yeah, I fuck with Brother Moses. Yeah,
Brother Moses, put your information in the chat, brother, because I know you're a mod in my chat. Go ahead, make sure you put your info up there, your channel and all that stuff. For those of you who are not subscribed to Brother Moses already, go ahead and subscribe to Brother Moses' channel.
I appreciate
your ass.
So I am trying to get to 1,000. So appreciate that, man.
Yeah, man. Let's get Moses' numbers up, man. Because if you don't, I will haunt you in your dreams and your black ass mama too. Let's get the brother numbers up. Go ahead, put your information in the chat, Brother Moses.
Let me see. I think it's at Mr. Breaking News. So let me try that. YouTube.com. I think somebody can grab it. /user/Mr. Breaking News.
Yeah, put all your stuff up there, man. Whatever you got going on, put it in the chat. Your channel, all that stuff.
Like he said, he's absolutely right. Every once in a while, I do break down content. It's not always from the white supremacist lens, though. Like, if you actually check out my station, I actually be dropping facts. I show like the Excel tips on how I actually came up with that data and information. I do a lot of research and reading that I put into the content that I develop just to make sure that it adds some value in perpetuity, right? Because this is media, this is intellectual property, and intellectual property is the same thing as those patents. And right now we can sell ourselves short by making it free and available to the public market, or we can let YouTube take a cut of it once we're monetized, but it's still intellectual property, something that we can have a claim and an ownership to. These are the blueprints. These are the patents to civil success. Whether you want to be an author or published writer and all of that information, you'll have it. Your audio files are you. And when you speak the real and when you speak truth, I think it should be recorded. That's why I came to YouTube, also to support Brother George Macon. I met that guy at the Sign of the TV Awards Conscious Community. And he was like, Moses, get on. And then one day, Brother Taz exclusive, he dropped a link because he had just had a debate with a lawyer. And he was like, come on. But everybody knows probably being on the Sunday Rumble, which is O'Shea Duke Jackson. That's the homeboy for like 25 years. We go back a long ways. And so also frequent that channel. So Brother Moses, YouTube, I do the research. I try to get the best information that I can. I do have an objective position here, though, because we only got like 9 more months really of this process, and whether or not reparations even gets on the ballot, then we can argue against, oh, it failed, and you can even laugh at me. But I feel like work to do. So I don't worry about it. I have the conversations as if we're pushing forward and we are stimulating and influencing our Congress to make a decision in our favor. And like he said, racism is natural. So for me, it's only natural to protect the best economic interests of our group. And that's what I do. And if there was one last thing that I would say, I also fuck with Ramil. He's right. I purchased some of his music. I went to his website. That was one of the things that I immediately did when I saw that we could connect on music. And he does have beats there. I think it was something Herbs. I remember the website. But I went there and it was well laid out. It did have the beats separate, but it also had other products. And that was a skill set that I admired. And so to support him, I was saying, look, I admire the fact that you've already moved into the e-commerce and digital space of your hustle, right? Because you can do so much more than somebody who doesn't have those skills. And so I support it, but that's what you'll see across multiple platforms. I'm going to rock with you, whether I think you're B1 or not. And hopefully people render that salute and give me some support back by going and becoming a subscriber. Check out some of the content. But if there's nothing else you can do, be sure that you like this stream, the one that you were just in, to give us a big up and help drive our Google Analytics. And I would appreciate that. So salute.
Yeah, absolutely. Get on down there and support Brother Moses. I got a couple questions coming up. I don't know if they are to you or to Brother Ramil. The one that's on the screen right now, it says, when in history have slaves received reparations?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that question is being asked.
Yeah, it's directly to the slaves. And so they would have to understand the timeline. It's not enough that you could put here without being long-winded. That's why I keep referencing 1862. That was a pivotal turning point. So start there in your research if the question is genuine, and then you'll start seeing some of those cases. I'll give you one. The Harriet Tubman, her lawsuit for her pensions would be one, but it just depends on how you personally define reparations. So they were saying she was a spy for the Union Army going back, and they said she had earned a reparations, but she wasn't awarded a pension. And they took that claim all the way to the courts and tried to sue for it, for an example. But you can start at 1862 to start finding that information. Appreciate the question, and I take it in all genuine. Nice.
All right. We got another one from Marco Grande. Will the African, Spanish, Portuguese involved in selling slaves also be required to pay reparations? How will you get them to pay?
If they're still in America, any of those political agendas that go through, whether they're funding foreign aid or infrastructure, the DREAM Act, for more race-based politics, whatever it is that they actually want to support with political processes, if those African, Spanish, and Portuguese who are involved in the slaves or descendants of, or have descendants still here in America, they get taxed like the rest of the folks get taxed. It's a tax. You know what it is. It comes from that same legislative body. How do they appropriate funds? And that's the process. And that's a hard struggle, which is why, like he says, we need more effort, more intense behavior, more lobbyists. All of that stuff is an agreement with reparations, that we deserve it. All of that is a position that I would agree with. Those folks, how would you get them to pay? They have jobs, they have labor, they have businesses, they have assets, and all of those things are taxed anyway. And so whether, like right now, you didn't have to pay to get that street done. You didn't personally have to go build that street. You didn't personally have to put in the electrical grid. You can benefit from that government, early government program that brought in the trains, planes, and automobiles and all of those things when early private businesses couldn't afford that whole land grant or whatever it was. That appropriation is where my mind is at. And being able to recreate that on an economic scale to where even global societies or segregationist, sorry, a Muslim background, separationist form, whether you do that here or whether you do that in places like Africa, whether you do it as an individual or as a part of a collective. I speak from that level. I speak it into existence, and therefore it is. They pay through their taxation like we would pay even for our own fucking reparations, unless somewhere in that language they decided that we are exempt from taxes, which is another benefit that they could negotiate. We don't know what they'll negotiate. I can't project myself into the pulpits of those white men, nor am I the person who's actually sitting down in those hollow chambers having this conversation. I think that conversation would be probably either for our celebrities, for those NAACP who I can't fucking stand at this point, even some of those presidential candidates who had dropped out but pushed the bill forward. I think that that's still a conversation for them in DC. As a part of Black media, though, I am a voice, and I know that that's biggest power is in its influence. So we're going to say what needs to be said from our lens. Peace and Black power. I'm gonna run up to wifey, and thanks T.P.O.T for allowing me.
Hold up, you got one more. You got one more before you go. It says, I'm sure it's for you, Brother Moses. Don't you think getting triggered is a female trait?
Emotions, I don't necessarily put one way or the other. Sometimes you got to fight for some shit, and sometimes that anger is needed. Like you have a war cry or a battle cry. Sometimes you can do it in a whisper, and it's just as effective. At this point, I think that what I demonstrated was that feminine characteristic, that imbalance, to where my energy started to move into a place of argumentation and almost even into the opinions. I was knocked off my square a little bit, normally dropping facts and statistics and data, and I wanted to do the back and forth. So I apologize if that's how it came off as being a poor representation of our Black masculinity in a public space. So yeah, the Portuguese and I see them right there. The Portuguese and the Spanish. Look, it's a global economy, right? So when you're talking the United Nations saying, yeah, America needs to pay reparations, they also, those Spanish and Portuguese, they play a part in that global community. They play a part in some of those same emergencies that I was referring to, or the global health initiatives right there in Africa. See, the power or the lighting in Africa was just one. It was also agriculture, which we have a distinct history and legacy deeply rooted in that we were denied. We were denied that in the form of our contracts and made to be tenant croppers, sharecroppers and shit. So the Spanish and the Portuguese, whatever their contribution right now is into the global market, that's what the reparations allows us to be once again as a separate nation, whether here or abroad. Thank you for the question. How do you get them to pay? Well, I don't know. There's some trade-off that happens in the transfers of wealth on a global stage. There's 40 million of us. Don't think of us in such small terms. Spain and Portugal are other nations. Do they owe Black folks specifically the reparations, or is that an argument that I proposed for our federal government? I said ours. Spain and Portuguese, that's global community. So thanks for the question. All right, anything more?
Nope, I think that's it for you, Brother Moses.
All right, and once again, with the energy, that's also a Tesla case. That's also a Warren Buffett argument right there. That's the real players that we're bringing into the argument when we say banking industry. That's the real player that we're bringing into it. And they're making these decisions every day when they support the endowments of the Harvards and the Princetons. So for me to say HBCUs, that is another point of contention that we have to recognize. We have them, they're here, they're putting out our doctors and lawyers, they're undercapitalized. There was one, I think it was Princeton Theological, that said reparations were due for admissions. They had a very small, minute number, but I just dropped those hints. I put them out there. Those are the breadcrumbs that we need. And so I'm going to salute that. This dude is persistent. Thanks for not answering. I knew you wouldn't. Look, my argument was for the federal. You got to listen to the debate, Marco Grande. I know you want me to take the conversation into another place. And that conversation will be between the Portuguese and the Spanish governments on how they pay for reparations if they so choose to. If there is a united or a global case to like the World Bank, I would say, for instance, in order to accommodate what you want me to discuss, which is Spain and Portuguese paying for their part. I get it. The asientos, which was the contracts during the transatlantic slave trade and the moving of Black people like commerce across there, their role, those kings or those monarchs, and their decision, their implicit role in the selling of our Black bodies. But that's not what I'm arguing for. And in fact, if you listen to it, I said 1862. I wasn't even going all the way back into the 1776 when we became an American government. And then they started with their being complicit or whatever it was, not even back to 1776 where we fought for American Revolution. And we were a part of that war as well, deep in the South where my history and legacy traces itself. But even before then, when they started populating those with governments from the Bahamas and Cuba, places that were rich with our ancestral lineage and blood and productivity. No, I didn't go all the way back there. I said 1862. Keep up. That's not Spain and Portugal anymore, to answer your fucking question. But if you want to drop another super chat, go right ahead.
Yo, and I wanna say something to that too, because I had to put on my damn glasses, man, especially when I saw 4,000, and then I went back and I saw this shit right here. I was like, is that 10 racks? I had to put on my glasses to make sure I wasn't seeing some crazy shit. But once I saw, the COP, I realized what it was. But I was like, wait a goddamn minute. Did Marco Grande just drop 4 racks on this shit? And then 10 racks earlier? Shit, I'm about to stop this stream right now. I won't stream no more for the next month.
I hit my quota.
This
right.
stream is over.
I got my 120 pounds.
I appreciate you coming through, though, Brother Moses, man. It's always a pleasure.
Yes, sir. And I appreciate you. Love.
All right. All right. So now, if you got any questions for Brother Ramil, you can shoot them up. Shoot them up. Shoot them up. Shoot them up. Pull the trigger. Pull the trigger. And I got my glasses. I'll be able to read them.
While they doing that, I just want to say thanks for having me on again. You know, another debate. You know what I mean? You know, 2-0. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. So you're 2-0. You know what I mean? So why you guys waiting to ask these questions after this is over with? But wait on the questions, man.
Mm-hmm. Send them up, because if not, I'm just gonna end the shit. So Brother Ramil can fire his shit up, you know. That's what I'm gonna do. Well, I'm not gonna end it immediately, you know, because I gotta tell y'all some stuff that we got coming up, because we do have a few things coming up. Like promised, you know, I try to keep my word to y'all. I got some good shows coming up for y'all, man. And I mean, some really good guests are going to be coming through. Some heavy hitters. You know, I'm not going to reveal them all. I'm working in the back, you know, with my shadow producer, because I do have a shadow producer. And we got some good shit coming up, man, for y'all, man. Y'all going to be shocked with the people that you see on the T.P.O.T. YouTube page. So go ahead.
I was shocked with how was that at least. Shit.
Oh, well, I know her, you know, that's easy. Yeah, so I got some good guests coming up for y'all, man. I do, man. Y'all gonna be shocked, man, with the guest lineup, man, in 2020, man. Coming bigger and bolder for y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, folks. Well, you could go ahead.
They got a couple questions.
They do? Where? Oh,
there's a couple questions. I'm seeing the first one is, do you believe blacks already received? Go ahead.
I guess I don't see them because there's no money attached to them.
Never mind.
Never mind, y'all. Not sticking out. Now y'all will pay. Let me see. Now I got to stop.
Now I'm with you. I'm with you.
Hold up. See how y'all are? I'm about to get on your black asses now. I'm about to get on you now, because y'all are willing to pay to ask Brother Moses questions, but you're not willing to pay to ask Brother Ramil questions. That doesn't make any sense to me. All right. Both of these brothers came up here and debated tonight. So if you're going to hit the super chat to ask Brother Moses questions, God damn it, you're going to hit the super chat to ask Brother Ramil questions too, or I'm not freaking reading them. And I don't care if you get mad or dislike the video. So there. God damn Negro. You're going to drop coin to ask questions. Yeah, you're going to drop coins to ask Brother Moses something. You got to drop coins to ask Brother Ramil something too. That's the way it's working up here tonight on the T.P.O.T. YouTube page. You know. Or I got that Cash App. Y'all can make those coins drop on here too. $, capital T.P.O.T. Media. That's $, capital T.P.O.T. Media on Cash App. Go ahead, hit that Cash App and let me know you hit it. And you can write your question right in there. Oh, X, look, I just dropped a Cash App. I'll check it, make sure it's you, and then I'll ask your question. There it is.
He said, I can't seem to see it. There's no money involved.
Yeah, that's why they don't stick out. Shit, I ain't got the specs on.
I feel you though. I feel you.
I'm blind. That's why I had to look. I was like, wait a minute. Did somebody just drop 4 racks in this motherfucker? I'm about to turn this shit off.
Oh man, y'all crazy. I think Marco just dropped a super chat, but yeah.
Oh, he did. Yeah, well, Marco Grande, he always dropping coins, so you know. The people who always
sir.
drop one, you know, that's different. You know what I mean? Marco Grande be looking out. Where you at? Okay. Marco Grande says,
Somebody asked the question.
he said, "Low, sorry to disappoint you, T.P.O.T. I was disappointed with the weak answers and not going to the source of slave trade to America. He excused the source." You must be talking about Brother Moses.
Yeah, he's talking about Brother Moses. But somebody did super chat a question. They did ask.
Okay, I got him. There you go. Don Cato wants to know, how could argument be brought before the courts when blacks were locked out of the courts? I'll wait.
You don't gotta wait long, brother. Are blacks locked out the courts right now? Are we locked out right now? No. You can walk into any courthouse and file any lawsuit and pay the filing fee. We're not locked out. All right. And even back then, we weren't locked out. So you had to Dred Scott. I mean, you had plenty of lawsuits involving black people for the longest. All right. So I don't, you ain't been locked out of courts. Even during slavery times, the blacks had lawsuits.
And got a super chat from Keep It Techie. He says, "Salute Ramil on the win. I still think
shout out Techie
into the getting marriage to create generational wealth."
You just had to throw that in there. But shout out to Keep It Techie, man. I fuck with Keep It Techie, man. Thanks for that super chat, brother. And thanks for the acknowledgement of the dub. So we know.
And my man AJ, what's good, brother AJ? I see you up there, brother. Appreciate that super chat, brother. B1, where is y'all support? Peace, brother X. That's not really a question. That's not really a question, but I read it anyway. What's that you say, Lady Lucky? Are you gonna? Well, that's not how we do it here. Lady Lucky. I let the audience decide who won. I don't really do a formal vote on the show. I let the audience decide who won. You know, I mean, one, that's who y'all think won. We don't do no formal vote, do a poll at the end. Nah, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. If you think somebody won, fine. You think they won. You think somebody lost, fine. You think they lost. That's how I do it. Just like the folks pick these debates, I let the folks decide who win it. All I do is set it up and host it. I mean, y'all pick these debates. Y'all pick the debaters. Y'all do. Y'all pick the debaters. Y'all pick the topics. All that. All that. Y'all do this. Not me. I'm just here hosting and trying to control my StreamYard, and it be fucking up sometime. But yeah, I mean, y'all control it. During slavery, stop it. Take time, read HR 40.
Oh my God. Just because you super chatted, Don Cater, you need to take time to read Brocky versus Lovell, Brom and Bet versus Ashley, Quack Walker versus Jennison, Commonwealth versus Jennison. All of these court cases are during slavery, which involve black people. All right. North Carolina versus Mann, Polly versus LaSalle. You know, all these court cases coming straight from times of slavery. You know what I mean? So I don't understand where you're coming from with that.
I hope that answers your question, brother.
In fact, I put the link in the chat for him, man.
Any more? Is there any more? I didn't hear my Cash App go off not one time tonight. I'm rather disappointed. I usually get at least one or two. I didn't hear these coins drop one time tonight. Jeez.
Shout out BMT, man. I'm glad you shout out BMT, man. That's all I'm gonna say, man. Shout out BMT. Actually, I'm 3-0. Shit. Fuck it.
You said 3-0.
Yeah, I had a debate on BMT.
Yeah, I caught a little bit of that with you and brother Amyr over there on BMT's. And y'all had the girl was over there asking y'all questions. I caught a little bit of it, like the end of it. Not the whole.
Yeah, true. Yes, sir.
All right. Is that it, y'all? Y'all don't got no more questions? Well, if not, I'm gonna close out. Well, I appreciate you coming through, brother Ramil. As always, man, you're always welcome on the T.P.O.T YouTube page, brother. Got a lot of respect for you, man, and all that
And
kind
vice
of.
versa.
You know, I appreciate you coming through because I always hit you up. Most of the time, I hit you up on short notice, but I actually gave you a few days this time. So, you know,
Yeah. It's
yeah.
all good, man. Much respect to you, man. For real. Thank you for the platform. Thank you for letting me allow me on the platform, man. I enjoy what you do, man. This year, you definitely coming with that heat, definitely, man. And
Right. I'm trying, man. I'm
yeah,
trying.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah. So
trying.
thanks a lot, man. And and once again, I'm about to go live on my channel for a post debate analysis, and just do it like that.
All right. I appreciate you coming through, brother. Peace. I'll see you on the other side, man.
All right, peace out, man. Thank you.
All right, my brother. And to my timekeeper, absolutely positively, man. Appreciate you, man. I like that bell that you was using tonight, brother Art. That was a good touch, man. Oh, brother, fantastic. Good look on that super chat. Oh, you too, brother Marco Grande. Good look on that, brother. Fantastic. I appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that, man. Good look on that, man. Mr. Fantastic says chat is saying yet another win for the thinking black man and L's for the pro wax. Shout out X and Ramil. You destroyed the little bit I left over from last time. Brother Fantastic is fucked up. Brother Moses with the tooth and nothing but the tooth. Boy, you wrong for that one, man. You wrong for that.
Quite a nice series here, brother Xavier. So,
Huh? Say what? Say what, brother Art?
you said you have quite a good series here with the debates. So,
Yeah, man. You know, giving the folks new looks, man. And I'm letting this is the people's choice, brother Art. I mean, I don't pick these combatants. I just sort through the numbers. Now I get 75 million emails that I have to go through, but you know, I go through the numbers, and you know, I the person that's on the top on one side of the argument, I find someone else, a name that I've gotten, and I try to get them together. If that person don't want to debate, I go down the line and I do that until I got two people. That's it. That's how it goes. I mean, I'm already working on next week's debate. I already got one combatant already, you know, with it. So I'm waiting for my other debate, and I have next week set up too. So
I hope
that's where I'm at now.
hope people are taking notes on both sides. So,
Yeah, you know, I mean, I think it's a good at the end of it all, man, it's all about having a little bit of constructive conversation, man. You know, that's it. Just have a little bit of constructive conversation, you know, and bring two brothers together, man, and you know, make a thing out of it, man. I try to keep it as professional. You know, I let a little bit of the niggatry get in, you know, like the rapid fire round, you know, because I do it like it's kind of set up like an Oxford style debate, but you know, I've cut a lot of the formalities out of it and just kind of threw my own spin on it, man. And I think it works out good, man. You know, it stays under control. You know, folks don't get too riled up. You know, and it goes along nice. And at the end, you know, you get a few people in the audience, you know, that want to talk and ask some questions, or you know, I like it. I mean, the folks like it. I told you, I get a lot of emails, man. I get tons. They be killing me. They be killing me with the debate requests, man. Killing me. I mean, some of the debates they ask me for are like totally impossible. There's no way I can make those happen. But most, I say like 85% of them, I can um I can make them happen. I can make them happen, and I reach out to folks, and you know, I keep reaching out until I get two people committed to it, and that's it. Make it make a thing out of it. So, like I said, I'm already working on next week. So I'm just waiting for an answer from, you know, one person, and next week will be settled too. And speaking of next week and shows, tomorrow, black folks, we will be talking about fathers. Tomorrow's show will be a father on purpose, where we're going to be talking about fathers, and we're also going to be talking to a couple single fathers who have custody of their children. You know, because we always change the pace a little bit. You know, we're going to be talking to single fathers tomorrow. I'm gonna have a few brothers on here who have custody of their kids. They're going to be talking about the trials and tribulations of single fatherhood. what it's like to, raise a child, minus a mother. And we're going to be talking to fathers in general. So, all the fathers out there, you're welcome to hop on, and talk about your fathering experience. So check us out tomorrow. Y'all know the time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time on the T.P.O.T YouTube page, home of DXL. We'll be talking about fathers tomorrow, man. Fathers on purpose. So come on through. Come on through tomorrow if you're a father, man, and share some of your stories, share some of your trials, tribulations, your problems, your, whatever. If you're a father, you're welcome to come through tomorrow. And next week on DXL, Thursday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, I will be talking to the North Carolina chapter president of the NAACP. She will be right here on the T.P.O.T YouTube page. That's next week, January 6th. She will be live here, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. That's going to be next Thursday. The president of the North Carolina chapter of the NAACP will be right here. Next week's debate, like I said, I'm still working on that. I got half of it in already. I'm just waiting for the other half, and that one to be set. So just keep your eyes out for the promo. Y'all know how we do it here. Like Saturday, Sunday, a promo will be up, and y'all will know what we doing, and y'all will see the information about the president of NAACP as well, because y'all know I like doing those double header, promos. So just be on the lookout for that. Don't worry about it. It's all good. But yeah, brother Art, man, I appreciate you, man, hanging out with us tonight, man. Did a good job, man. I like that bell, man. I gotta get me one of those.
Have to put that little Rocky touch on there, bro.
Yeah, man. And like I said, man, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you coming through, brother. You're my man, and you royalty on TPOT, man. You already know that.
Well, I appreciate it being considered, brother. I'm always here when I'm called, so much respect.
Absolutely, man. You already know. So that's gonna about do it, folks. I appreciate everybody coming through tonight, man. Very, very good debate, but the debates have been good. I mean, cause the brothers that come on here, man, are very intelligent, man. They're intelligent brothers. They have intelligent debate. Had a crazy whack one yet. The debates are getting better and better. We're trying to format it better. Look forward to seeing some new faces, some people that you're probably not too familiar with. Look for that maybe within the next 3 weeks or so, because I'm working on some stuff. Like I said, I'm going to bring y'all some good stuff in 2020, man. Y'all stuck with me, man, for a long time. And what I want to do, man, I want to show my appreciation by bringing y'all some good shows, man, some solid shows, and bringing y'all some good guests, and some guests that, y'all will be, y'all will be impressed with, and guests that, y'all are interested in to keep you watching. I'm just saying. But yeah, what I need y'all to do now is to get your black behinds down to the Proper Thought series on Facebook. That's Proper Thought, one word, series, the next word on Facebook. Go ahead down to that page. That's our main page. It's a community page. Go ahead, like the page. Follow the page, share the page. You also can catch up with old X there. You can even drop me a line. I'm guaranteed to get back to you between 24 and 168 hours. Also, while you're down there, you can find out what's going on the TPOT YouTube page as well. Also, while you're on Facebook, get your black behinds down to the Proper Thought Series fan group page. That's the Proper Thought Series fan group page on Facebook. Go ahead, request to be a member. You're guaranteed to get up in there quick. It's a fan group page, so there's a lot of people down there posting. You ain't just got to listen to old X run his mouth. There's other people down there running their old mouths too. So go ahead, request to be a member. If you have any problems, just drop me a line. I'll talk to my admin. Make sure you get up in there. Also, check us out on WhatsApp and Instagram. All right, that's Prophet of Thought. Leave out the series on Instagram. Once again, just Prophet of Thought. Leave out the series on Instagram. Go ahead, follow us on Instagram. You guaranteed to get a follow back. I know I did do some follow backs the other day. I haven't been checking it that much, but I'm getting better, y'all. So if you follow us on Instagram, you'll notice that I have been following y'all back. As I see them periodically, I will be following everybody back. Just give me some time to, just check it out and go through it and all that kind of stuff. But y'all already know how we're going to end the night, right? We're going to end the night like this. Get your black behinds down to Twitter. The Twitter handle is at T.P.O.T Media on Twitter. That's at T.P.O.T Media on Twitter. Go ahead. Follow us on Twitter. Because if you don't, I will haunt you in your dreams tonight. And when I leave from haunting you, the next person I'll haunt in their dreams is Joma, and I will haunt her for the next 6 months. So once again, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I want to thank these good people in the chat right here. My moderators always doing what they got to do. But most importantly, I want to thank you for hanging out with us tonight, watching us, spending some time with us. It's always a good thing. I appreciate all of y'all. I do. I appreciate every one of you. And make sure you have your black behinds here tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time on the T.P.O.T YouTube page, because DXL will be on and we'll be talking about fathers on purpose. All right. All right. So with that, I will leave you with 3 words. You know, like I always do, open.
Open your mind, your mind, your mind, your mind.
Peace, folks.
And so a community is where you control your belief, control your commerce, you control your education, you control your house. We don't control none of that. We live in a hood. Well, what about the Negroes that get out? Oh, well, my cousin, he's a multi-millionaire, almost got $1 billion. 3 PhDs, working on 2 more. Driving down the street in Chicago in his Rolls Royce, enjoying himself, and he hit his sirens and looked to the mirror and see this cop car flashing lights. He squeezed the steering wheel, man. Heart beats fast. Because he knows the price of a Negro, what it could be. And then when that cop car passed him by, he said, thank God he wasn't after you in the first place, Mom. That Negro thing you can't get away from. It's universal. They wasn't coming after you. But all your billions, with your Rolls Royce, with your PhD, didn't help. That's the hood. Why do you think you never pick up the paper 3 weeks over and over and see white families come? You think there's thousands of black cops in America. Why don't you see white families crying? That's like cops got my loved one funny. At the back of the head, why do you think black cops are there? They're more spiritual, they're better. No. They got enough sense to know that white folks ain't gonna tolerate it. And I will stop in our neighborhood with freedom side. We will not tolerate it. Now, if we were organized, which is hard to organize people who are listening to run crazy, and you don't love crazy. But if we were, with the money we have, and the many people who would come to our aid that don't know what it's like to be a Negro, and we said, if we said, look, we saying, if we don't get a federal law to deal with police brutality, that any time a cop or anybody carry a gun have to have a license just like you drive a car. And if you use it wrongly, you'll lose your license. And if it's upheld, you can never work again as a cop or a store boy or a private detective. Now, how do you get Congress to push that? Well, you take your economic power and just black, white, young and old, and say this coming Christmas, if we don't have a federal law to outlaw police brutality by law, we call it for a nationwide boycott of Christmas and it start on Thanksgiving. 79% of all retail in America happens between Thanksgiving and Christmas. People stay in business all year, lose money just for Christmas, huh? Well, what happened? Huh? Traffic Avenue, Georgia Hut, Chisholm over, Western House. They will get the bill, and all they got to do is make one phone call and say, Harry, Senator, I want that bill pushed through in 3 days. Okay, it's an economic thing. It's that simple. But we have the power, but the system has wiped us out. So like,
Open your minds from T.P.O.T. Media. Open your minds.